She's going to think I don't like her.
He's never gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
Well, I must have not been paying attention when you
Doing that makes the city look stupid.
To be honest with you, I like it.
You
as a
do?
start. Yeah, I do. I don't mind it. We're getting started.
I just don't think we ever have enough Dan Shabilia in our life. Just to remind us how dumb humanity can be.
By the way, guys, I just want to give a small disclaimer. Tom is not in a good mood.
Boy, that's an understatement.
He's good thing nobody heard the last try.
I know, and I'm going to say it again, but I'm going to leave out all the other stuff that I said when we thought we were live, and it was coming out of my mouth. I knew I shouldn't have said it, so it's good that the audio is down. By the way, is the audio up? Please, somebody tell us if the audio is working on this, because I'd hate to have to do this again.
Please share and like.
I can't be that funny 3 times in a row, like off the top of my head. After a while, it's just a performance.
Thank you, John Savastano.
Did he say that we're up?
Got you loud and clear.
Loud and clear. All right. All right. I'm not going to go through the whole show. Let's just get this show on the road. Hi, how you guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan here with the Paying Attention podcast right at the downtown Main Street. Jesus Christ. Can we start over again for the third time? Right downtown Main Street, North Andover. No, I can't. My brain's just not working. I've had no sleep in 2 days. At the NCAM Studios, North Andover Cable Access, right across the street from the plush and luxurious Valley Patriot offices.
Very plush, yeah.
Yep. Thanks for coming, kids. Good night. Let's thank our sponsors, McLennan Rail. We got a very big show for you today. We got 3 guests. We're going to talk about the Bash for most of the show. We're going to explain what the Bash is. We're going to talk about each scholarship. Each scholarship has a story behind it because they were all started at different times by different people. We're going to talk about all the different awards. We're going to talk about what each one means, who's getting the scholarships. We have one awardee that knows that they're getting it, so we'll talk about that. But in the meantime, we have Lenny Mira is here. We have Doug Mercurio, who's going to be our MC at the Bash this year. And we have our superstar Janet waiting in the wings to swap out with Lenny when he's done. So let's thank our sponsors. Century 21 McLennan Real Estate, Brando's Cutlets in Haverhill. They're going to be opening their new location at the site of Harrison's Roast Beef right here in North Andover. That's going to be Brando's South. I don't think that's going to be the official name, but that's what we're calling it. Total Mortgage, thank you to Marie Thibodeau for all of her donations to the scholarship kids, her sponsorship. I understand she took a collection yesterday at her office and donated another like $205 or something to a scholarship, so thank you for that. The Zany Pesh Law Office in Methuen. They're Italian, you know. Did you know that they're Italian? You know how you can tell that they're Italian?
Oh.
Because they'll tell you that they're Italian in the first 5 minutes that you talk to them. You can always tell an Italian because within the first 5, and they'll work it into anything you talk. You can talk about the color of the drapes at the White House. They'll be like, you know, those colors of the drapes at the White House. You know, it's blue and red. Because I'm Italian, you know, I know those things.
I wonder if the guys that we have here are Italian because I
think
don't
they both
know.
are. Mira and Mercurio.
Well,
how are
they're
they
not. They don't say anything.
You got to say something about it.
Mira and Mercurio. All right, who else do we have? Let's just get through this. I got to get to bed. On the Go Notary, The Hungry Traveler. Free shout out to them. I still got to get back to Kevin. Marsan and Son Construction. I want to thank Ronnie Marsan for, I think, a $1,500 donation for our scholarships. EIS Investigation and Gun Training. Tomo and Shaken Seafood. We have not been to Tomo in at least 3 or 4 weeks. I think that's the longest we've been. I think it's the longest we've not gone to Tomo's in like years. So we have to make sure that happens right after the Bash. AFC Urgent Care. Let me tell you about this. So Zaka from AFC Urgent Care, the owner of AFC Urgent Care, was on the show last week. Mm-hmm. We went off the air and he looked at the tote board and he goes, "Is my amount in there?" I said, "You haven't pledged an amount yet." He goes, "Oh, well, what did I do last year?" I said, "Well, last year you did $4,000, but that was to make up for the year before that there was a pledge made and we didn't get it." And I said, "So I'm not going to expect you to do that again this year. So whatever you're willing to give, we're doing really well this year. So whatever you want to give, I'm happy with it." He went, "You know, I'll give you another $4,000. So right. And by the way, the minute we posted that $4,000, that touched off a $13,000 donation spree over the next 24 hours after that. We raised almost $13,000 in like a day and a half. It was crazy. Who else do we have? The Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office. Can you guys please give this guy some business because his contract is coming up for renewal in another month or so, and he keeps telling me he's not gotten one new customer out of his advertising.
Did you ask
here
them
on
where they come from?
We ask
he does.
everybody.
He's very he's
Yeah.
the most meticulous person I know on the face of the earth. He knows their blood type. He knows their brother-in-law's sister-in-law's maiden name. Who else? 4-Star Lighting, a free shout-out to Paul Lambert at Lambert and Randone, who also, I think, gave us $1,000 for our scholarships, and a free shout-out to our buddies at JG's Ice Cream, because as cold as it is today, doesn't matter what the weather is. It's never too cold for JG's Ice Cream. All right. Let's get to a couple of really quick things before we get to our guests. A little disappointed in the outcome of the Lawrence City Council vote, but I do want to let me say this first. So just to let you know, the City Council did not renew TMF's permit to use the Buckley Garage for homeless dinners for the 2 years that we asked for. The chief has very strongly tried to throw us out. He actually tried to throw us out last September. We had the permit till April 1st. We tried to get it renewed. We walked into the room. The mayor came over, shook my hand. Octavian came in, shook my hand. Never said a friggin' word. Never said a word.
Fake.
Never said a word.
Fake.
We thought, listen, these guys have been my friends forever. If they were
Fake.
against TMF,
They could have said something
I'm
too
not saying
before.
that, but I'm just saying they should have at least given me a heads up. So we got blindsided. After they left, they read a letter from the mayor that the mayor did not support renewing the.
At least tell you.
Thank you to Stephanie Infante, who tried very, very hard. Now, I know after this vote went, what they did was they gave us 6 months to find another place. I mean, 3 months, till July 1st to find another place to hold the homeless dinners. We're all very disappointed in that. But a lot of people after the meeting were attacking the council. And I don't think that's very fair because it wasn't the council. Stephanie Infante worked very hard to get us at least a year. We were asking for 2. She worked very hard. Vivian Marmo just walked all over us the whole night. It was whatever the chief. She was kissing the chief's ass so bad that night. It was ridiculous.
Gregory too. He tried. He wanted
Gregory
to do the
tried
2 years.
really. He wanted the 2 years. He tried. A couple of my other friends on the council sat very quiet. I'm not going to forget that, by the way. They sat very quiet.
Anna Levy was like, "You guys need to go." Sometimes you just don't have to talk. Sometimes it's not necessary for you to say anything. Like Anna Levy, you should have stayed quiet. You shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, I kept waiting for her to say something good, and then when she did, I was like, okay, well, please don't help. So anyways, Stephanie Infante did heroic work that night. If not for her, Vivian Marmo would have gotten her way. And what she wanted was to just give the chief everything he wanted and said, let's give them an extension at will, which means the chief can come in anytime he wants and say, okay, tonight you're out. Here's something interesting, though. For the last 6 months, every single Wednesday night, we get to the bus station, and the chief has filled that station with police cruisers because they have nowhere else to put the cruisers. There's nowhere else we can put them. 410 pieces of property in Lawrence that are in tax title, but there was nowhere else they could put those cruisers.
409 now.
Right. But
for $1.
Tuesday night, they took their vote. The chief got what he wanted. Last night, we went to TMF. Guess what? No cruisers. Isn't that amazing? They mysteriously, in 24 hours, found a place to put all their cruisers. Amazing. Amazing to me. The whole thing was a ruse. I said it from the beginning. No one wanted to believe me. Listen, and I'm gonna end with this because because I'm very disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed that I took a couple of knives in the back, but I'm okay with that. I'm not going to take it personal, but I'm going to say this. I am very grateful for the mayor and the city council for giving us the 4 years that they gave us. Brian DePina ran 4 years ago, and he promised us he would get us back into the bus station after Dan Rivera threw us out, and he did. And the city council approved it, and they fought very hard against the people who did not want us there. Kelly and Debo were screwing us every chance they could. You had certain other people that I'm not going to mention names, Rich Russell, Lee Fickenworth. I'm not going to mention their names because that would be wrong.
Queen.
The welfare queen, Lee Fickenworth, was up there doing everything she could. Brenda was not helping behind the scenes. There was a lot going on, but we prevailed, and we got 4 years out of Brian DePina. And as upset as I am that he didn't let me know what he was going to do. And that's
because it's okay. He doesn't have to agree with you, but at least tell you.
That's it. I'm not upset that he was against it. If he changes, listen, he's my friend, right? You're my friend. We're not always going to agree.
Of course not.
And I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is he ambushed me at a public meeting. He could have picked up the phone and said, Tom, just so that you don't feel like you're ambushed tomorrow night or next week, because I understand this decision was made a week earlier. Listen, I just got to let you know I got to go in a different direction. I know you're not going to like it. I would have been okay with that. We walked into that city council meeting. TMF, we all walked in with very high hopes, but we also walked in resigned to the fact that we were going to live with whatever they decided. That we weren't going to, that whatever they say, we're just going to roll with it and we'll figure it out.
But I feel like that says more about how he feels about you.
Well, that's
it sounds like he
That's
doesn't
right.
have a lot of respect for you. If maybe I'm wrong.
If
I don't
he
know.
valued my friendship, he would have picked up the phone. I
respect.
would never. Can you imagine if I had come on this program the Thursday before the election, and after going and helping him the last 2 elections, and endorsed Juan Manny Gonzalez without telling him that it was coming? Can you imagine how he would feel?
No. Can you imagine if the renewal happened last spring? What would have happened? Things would have been a lot different. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah,
you guys should have made it in a way that you had to renew
Do it
every
before
time
the
it was
election. Yeah, it
right
should have
before
been
the election. I bet you.
But I
would
tried
have
to get
it.
Mike Gorman to do that before the election, and that kid, he's a good kid, but he's so obsessed with the person who called him this morning that needs a blanket that he can't think a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months ahead, because the
He's in the
immediate
moment.
need in Lawrence is so severe that it's hard for him to get out of that. So, listen, they've given us till July 1st to find a new place. We're already talking to property owners. I can tell you this: if they think they've pushed us out of Lawrence, they are
That's
wrong.
what they want. That's what they want.
They told us that's what they wanted. The chief
Yeah.
said he wanted us out of Lawrence. If they think they've pushed us out of Lawrence, they are sadly mistaken. Somebody said to me walking out of that meeting, she said, Tom, you use this phrase a lot on your podcast that Confucius says, be careful what you ask for because you might just get it.
Yeah.
And she said, we might find a place that's much more open, much more visible, and highlights the homeless much more. And it might be on a private lot and they'll have nothing to say about it. Now, I'll tell you what I wanted to do. I wanted to get Billy Griffin's Brando's chicken cutlet truck, his food truck. I wanted to park it outside of a certain elected official's home. I'm not going to say which one, and then distribute flyers to everybody for a week to let them know that that's the location we were going to be feeding them at next week. Because if you don't want us at the bus stop, maybe across the street from your house would be a better place. Just saying. So, listen, I love Brian DePina. He's a friend. I feel very betrayed by him. He did betray me. He should have picked up the phone. But that does not take away from the fact that he gave us the bus station in the first place. I'm not mad that he changed his mind. I want to repeat that again, because people will half hear you and repeat it to him the wrong way.
Half hear it, yeah. Who cares?
I'm not upset that he changed his mind. Everybody has the right to disagree. Listen, he and I don't agree on a lot of things. You and I don't agree on a lot of things, right? What I'm upset about is the fact that he couldn't pick up the phone. And he walked into that meeting and shook my hand and didn't say a fucking word. And Octavian came over to me and asked me about the bash, and we chatted before the meeting, and they didn't say a word. So when they left, I thought, well, at least we know they're supporting us, because they would have said something. Wah, wah, wah.
No respect for you, Tom. I
When
don't know.
Giovanni read
Since his
that
last
letter-
4 years, he's not running again anymore.
Well, by the way, this
Is
brings up another topic. This is why term limits are bad. This is why term limits are bad. Term limits are always bad, and here's why.
He's changed a lot.
I'm giving you guys a real-life example of why term limits are bad. Because you give an elected official that kind of power, and they've got nothing to lose because they're termed out. They can screw anybody they want. They can do whatever they want. They can turn on their donors. They can turn on their supporters. They can turn on their council members. They can turn on anybody that they want, and there's no consequence. If he thought for a minute that he might be able to get a third term, he never would have done what he did last night. He never would have done it. And I'm really hurt. Not only am I hurt that he did it, I'm hurt that he didn't call me, but I'm even more hurt that we are now 48 hours away, and my phone has still not rung. He knows that I'm upset.
He doesn't care.
I've made it perfectly clear to the people around him that I'm upset.
He doesn't care.
And I said to somebody yesterday, I texted him and I said, does he even care that he's hurt me? Like, I'm not mad. I'm hurt. I'm hurt that you're supposed to be my friend. Like, does that matter to him?
It's not even like you're asking for funds or anything like that.
yeah,
You're asking for a space that's available.
No, I'm not
You're
even-
doing something good for the community.
And I'm not even asking for that. I'm asking for a phone call if you've changed your mind.
Hey, Lenny, do you think we can get them into couples therapy? it seems like it's a relationship issue. They need to work it out. I mean,
More communication is needed here.
I think
Absolutely.
It's just get them into therapy, hug it out. I mean, we all make mistakes.
So maybe Brian's being like proud and Tom is hurt. together, and maybe they just need to
But you
come
know what?
together.
No one on this planet is more for the homeless in Lawrence than Tom Duggan. If the city council put half as much effort and time in it as Tom has, there would be no homeless in Lawrence.
No, they said,
there really wouldn't be. There's so many resources available, and they're just not figuring it out. I mean, how does Tom figure it out, but the entire city council cannot figure it out?
The private sector always beats the public sector.
Right.
I mean, that's
what
just
it is.
what
It must be.
If you want, rhetoric, call the public sector.
Yeah.
If you want action, you call the private
What
sector.
they really don't like is the fact that Mike Gorman's from Methuen, Tom Duggan's from North Andover, and they're doing more for the homeless than the people who are there. That's what they're upset about. They're also upset that we're not like all the other nonprofits begging for grant money, because then once they can approve grant money for us, they can control us. They can tell us what to do. At election time, they can call us for a check. So we know what this is really all about. I want to say again, it's not the council. There were some councilors that fought very hard for us. And when the mayor's letter was read, we lost 3 votes right there. We needed at least 2 of those 3. Stephanie Infante worked very hard for us. Gregory DeRosario
At first, I was like,
tried.
is she on? Like, what
Well,
side
she
is
was
she
just being
on?
honest.
And-
Listen, we screwed up a couple of times. There were things that she pointed out that we were wrong about, and she's right. She was 100% right
No,
about
but then
all
I
that.
noticed that she was going in a different direction, and she did talk very good about Mike and what he does and all of that.
You have to keep in mind.
But my question is, like, so homeless are in Lawrence because of TMF, and there's drugs in Lawrence because of TMF?
Oh, you should have heard one of the councils say, oh, there's no drugs in Methuen. Nobody's saying that. But this is where it's the cheapest. They come to Lawrence because this is where it's made, manufactured, packaged, and distributed. So this is where it's the cheapest. You buy the same finger of heroin in Methuen, you're paying more than you're paying in Lawrence, because they have to pay somebody to bring it to Methuen, and they have to pay their middleman.
No, wait. So after July 1st, when you guys are not there, let's say you don't find anything, we won't see homeless people in Lawrence, right?
Dan Rivera threw us out of the bus station. We were gone for at least a year, maybe more. The number of homeless didn't change. In fact, it did. It went up. The number of homeless went up.
I just feel like they put that responsibility on TMF. The drugs in Lawrence, that responsibility was placed on your shoulders, and it shouldn't have been like that. Why don't you set goals for the police department?
I have so much more to talk about on this.
Why isn't the police department have a goal of every month at least a big bus? Why isn't that a goal for them? Why is it on the? I don't know. I'm really upset about it. I'm mad. I'm angry.
I'm going to have a lot more to say about it after the bash.
Yeah, let's focus on the bash.
But I do want to thank the council for as disappointed as we are, and as mad as I am at 2 particular councilors, and as betrayed as I feel by the mayor's office. You cannot take away from the fact that the mayor allowed us to be there. He supported us for 4 years. There was a lot of shit that was made up about us to try and get us out of there, and he backed us. And so I want to thank him for that. And I don't want to overlook that either, as disappointed as we are. And I also want to thank Giovanni Rodriguez. I want to thank Stephanie. I want to thank Gregory. They fought very hard.
They did.
They fought very hard. And
I was really surprised on Giovanni's stance.
I was also. I'm going to end with this. Rosalie Gonzalez, I do owe her a phone call. I am going to talk to her privately. But we were told walking into that meeting we had her support. And the very last thing, she didn't say much, but at the very end, she gave us the police chief's bullshit answer.
Go to Methuen?
Go to Methuen. That was what we got from Rosalie Gonzalez. Now, let me tell you
something. She never talks.
Wendy Luzon is my friend. I endorsed Wendy Luzon 2 years ago. I did not endorse her this time. I very well could have. Wendy Luzon won by 5 votes last time. She lost by 13 this time. I think I can influence at least 14 people in District B. And I was really disappointed by that answer. Now, I'm going to talk to her again privately because she asked for...
Don't say what you're going to do.
Well, she asked for a conversation. I'm willing to talk to anybody. I'm willing to hear her.
Oh, she wants to talk to you now after.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I didn't get a phone call before, though. All right. So anyways...
John Savastano. He said, Lenny, Doug, what's up?
Hey.
Awkward.
What's up?
All right, what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? I would talk about Kelsey Fitzsimmons later on. Can you people just stop? I'm just going to say this about Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Can you just stop? The whole thing makes me nuts. All of you. None of you are in the FBI. None of you are a super sleuth. None of you are 007, okay? I know that this is the new thing after, what's her name, that the one in Boston that they just acquitted. What was her name? The one Turtle Boy was helping.
Oh, in Dedham?
Yeah.
Karen Reed.
Karen Reed
I know
trial,
the whole Karen Reed, everybody's now a cheerleader. Everybody picks a side, then they look for the facts to suit the side that they picked. Can we stop doing that? Because the only thing that really matters in that case is whether or not the police officer that shot at her believed when she picked up her gun she was a threat. And all the other stuff, all the gossip, all the bullshit about what the husband did afterwards and what the emails before, all of that's all National Enquirer crap, okay? It really is. The only thing that matters is, did that officer believe their life was in jeopardy when she picked up that gun? And was his life in jeopardy when she picked up that gun? And I don't think we should be cheering until we have all the facts. I am not Team Kelsey, and by the way, none of you should be either. Maybe she's 100% innocent. Can we wait for the facts first? Can we wait for the trial? How many times do you watch Law and Order? How many times do you watch a video? How many times you watch a movie about a trial and you think 2/3 of the way through that the guy had to have done it, and then all of a sudden somebody comes back with a picture of the guy with blood coming out of the back door, you find out it was somebody else.
I mean, Tom, you do realize that's fake, right? I mean, granted,
but they're all based on real stories. I mean, they're all. How many real trials have we watched on court TV where we were convinced the guy did it, and then all of a sudden all this new evidence comes out when the defense presents their side, and you go,
they try on the glove? Is that what you're banking on? Just try on the glove?
All right.
There's been a lot of people that have gone to jail for crimes they didn't commit.
There are people who are wrongfully convicted, but that's a very small minority of the people who are.
I'm just saying there's a reason we wait for the evidence.
More often than not, they're guilty of what they're arrested for. More often than not. Granted, I get it. I'm a lawyer. Like, innocent until proven guilty. You got to prove the case. But the reality is, cops don't run around arresting people just for fun.
Right.
They sincerely believe when they arrest them, that they're guilty.
I'm hearing crap from women. We have to believe all women. Yeah, no, we don't. and I'm hearing from guys. Yeah, but she's hot. Now that actually has some validity.
There's some merit
that I believe.
There's
right? I'm okay with that.
There.
I might have even voted not guilty on her if I was on the jury.
From the officer's perspective, think about it. He chose to shoot somebody knowing she's hot. That tells you how much fear he was in, because he wouldn't have done it.
There's no way a real guy would have done that.
No, not unless if there was some serious fear there. No. So I'm 100% backing the officer. I feel
bad for the cop that had to do that, because people are attacking him and taking her side with no fucking evidence whatsoever. No evidence at all, except, the break-in after and all the other stuff that
which
the
is completely irrelevant to when the officer decided whether or not they were going to pull the trigger. And the reality is, with a friend or somebody as a coworker, this is not something you do lightly.
There's no cop that wants to discharge their weapon ever, because it is months, if not years, of their life that takes away from them. All right, to my left is Lenny Mira, former state representative, and Doug Mercurio from Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office, who needs at least one customer so he can renew his
might be buying a car.
Ads,
so.
hopefully.
He's the MC. You'll need insurance.
So Lenny, you were on Beacon Hill this week. What was going on with you?
So Tom, I was state rep for 10 years. I never saw a hearing like the one that took place on Tuesday on Beacon Hill.
Really?
So they had to create a special joint committee on ballot initiatives because they've been so ineffective and unproductive in passing bills. And when we brought that up to them, they were shocked to even hear that they're unproductive. They refused to believe it. State Rep Michael Day, the guy from Stoneham, simply disagrees and no, it's not true. But just Google those words. Least productive legislature in America. It's the same as least transparent legislature in America. It's Massachusetts. Been that way for a long time.
I've been saying that for a long time. Everybody thinks it's rhetoric.
And run by a king, by the way.
We are a communist state. When one party runs every single aspect of government, that's the definition of communism.
It's even worse than that because there's one guy running it.
Who's the king?
It's Mariano.
Well, I would
Speaker of the House,
that.
Ron Mariano, because here's the thing. The hearing on Tuesday was about stipend reform, so I was asked to take part on a panel with former legislators, by the way. It was Jonathan Heck, the former state rep from Watertown, Denise Provost, former state rep from Somerville, and they wrote a ballot initiative to just reform stipends. Stipends are the giant raises that the Senate President, Spilka, and the House Speaker, Mariano, give to their members. And to get one of these, you know what you have to do, Tom, right? Do whatever the hell they tell you to do.
You have to deliver.
Exactly. And by the way, so they created all these additional committees and leadership positions, and every one of these things comes with a gigantic raise in the tens of thousands of dollars.
They're literally buying votes.
Exactly.
While they're accusing Donald Trump and everybody else of illegalities. It's the most corrupt. This is the most corrupt legislature. You can't get that number of people in a room on any topic to agree 100% on everything, on one issue.
Exactly.
And yet on every single issue, every single Democrat agrees on every single issue. And just common sense tells you that that's corruption.
No, it's true. And so we did a little bit of research when we looked into their pay, and come to find out, Ron Mariano is making $224,000 a year. That makes him the highest paid legislator in America. Okay, no state rep or senator in New York or California or any big state makes anywhere near that amount of money.
New Hampshire, they get like $200 a year, right?
If that.
$100. I think $100.
Enough to go through the tolls and pay for
And
gas.
they also have real jobs.
Right.
They have to.
Private sector jobs.
That's right. But no, not here. And in fact, not even the Speaker of the U.S. House makes that much money. Nancy Pelosi, Mike Johnson never made
And they're trying to put Joe Solomon
$224,000.
in jail.
Wait, that
But
money is
they
like
do
a
better
salary?
on their stock trading than the local guys.
That's
I
it.
mean,
I make up
Nancy
for it in that way.
She
But to
makes
answer
up
your
for
question,
it with her stock
yeah,
picks.
if you look it up, the Boston Globe did a big story, and this masked out great reporter for the Globe wrote about this just a few months ago, where the Senate President, Karen Spilka, and the Speaker, Ron Mariano, make $224,000 a year. That's their base pay plus all their stipends. Now, base pay for a state rep is about $80,000 or $82,000 a year now. And there's the disparity between a speaker and base pay of a state rep is usually like 20-30%. Pennsylvania is a little high, like at 50%. Well, Mariano makes 2.5 times the base salary of a state rep. And so he dishes out these stipends to all his loyalists. Dozens upon dozens of additional committees and leadership positions were created with the point of giving them these stipends. And if you look at the results, as Jonathan Heck pointed out, the vast majority of Democrats in the House vote with the Speaker 99, even 100% of the time. Every single vote.
I don't agree with my family that often. I haven't agreed with girlfriends that often. I lived with a woman for 11 years. We were practically married. We didn't agree that often in one day. We didn't agree.
Right. No, never. No. It's impossible.
And, I talk to my state rep friends. I'm friends with a lot of these guys, a couple of state senators, and they will tell you privately, listen, I'm not for all this illegal alien bullshit.
Right.
I'm not for this. I'm not for that. But if I don't go along, I don't get a committee assignment. And if I don't get a committee assignment, I can't pay my mortgage.
Right.
Right?
But again,
so
this goes
they're
back
buying
to
votes. But they're admitting that they're being bought.
But again, I think the overarching problem is that it's a full-time job. It's not public service in the traditional sense. They're not out in the private sector working and then benefiting their community by being elected as a rep for a stipend, so to say.
But they're not doing full-time work. You call it. I'm just going to use one example. I know he's friends with everybody here. Just look at Barry Feingold. You call him in his office at 10 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He answers his own phone in Andover. He's not in the legislature. He's not writing bills. He's not voting on shit. He's at his law office making money, and maybe once in a while he drives to Boston for a vote when he has to.
He donated to a scholarship in the back.
But again, I'm just using him as an example because that represents all of them. It's not just him. It's all of them. They're all doing a second job. They're all working in the law office.
A state legislature shouldn't need to be a full-time job.
Right.
If we have...
They sure as hell shouldn't get paid for full time.
When we have meetings about meetings, that's not productive use of time.
They're not even doing that
aide.
anymore.
Yeah.
They have a basic number of committee hearings just to go through the process of giving a bill a hearing. So 10,000 bills get filed every session, right? Yeah. And by law, you have to give them quote unquote a hearing. Right. And it's a facade. It's just a completely fake portrayal of them listening to you, but they're not listening to you. Exactly. The committee chairs are going to do whatever the hell the speaker tells them to do, and he'll dictate what comes out of committee for a vote. And those are very few.
And let's remember how the legislature flipped the F out when State Representative Willie Lantigua got elected mayor of Lawrence and kept both jobs. And everybody in Boston was flipping out because by the fact of him being in Lawrence every day holding press conferences as mayor, he was highlighting the fact that none of them are up there every day.
Exactly.
None of them are doing their job
and
up there
in
every
fairness,
day.
I don't want them there every day.
Well, that's true, too.
The
less
more,
work they do, the better.
Correct.
But we should be paying them. Why are we paying them when Willie Lantigua, you're paying him a full-time salary to be the state representative for Lawrence while he's the full-time mayor of Lawrence?
Right.
That's outrageous,
Wait,
and
they
that's
have an
why
aide.
they made him quit because of that, because he was making them look bad, not because he was doing wrong.
They each have an aide. Is the aide full time?
When you first get elected state rep, you get one aide. But
Is it full time?
As time goes on, you get more and more.
Yes. But the people who have been there a long time, they get additional aides. Senators get additional aides. And
I know one that's got 3.
Yep. And the aides don't make that much money. No. And they do most of the work, believe it or
do
not,
all the
because they're
work.
at the office taking all the phone calls.
Except Francisco Polino. I can tell you for sure. We can have our differences, and we do, but Francisco Polino does his own work.
He does.
He writes his own column. I know he
Yep.
writes it because I know how he talks, and he writes the way he talks.
Good for him. That's the way it should be. But no, that place is a ghost town. You know, you talk about how they're not even there. So we went in there, there was nobody there except for the people on the special joint committee that they had to form just to hear all these ballot questions. And by the way, there's a record number of ballot questions. You know why? Because we don't pass anything. We don't do anything. And so
But
these
ballot,
groups
but ballot questions are that's a scam too, because they can just decide not to do it.
That's the problem.
They used to be a good thing. They used to be the citizen's voice in the process.
Right.
We can propose, the voters can support, the legislature isn't part of the discussion.
Right.
Until
They inserted themselves.
Correct. Until the legislature doesn't like what the voters do. And honestly, the problem with these ballot questions is so many people are so confused by them. They never know what they're actually voting for.
Right.
And half the people don't.
They're blank most of the time, unfortunately.
I'd prefer blank than just flipping a coin, which is what people are doing.
But you know what? There's so few races, very few seats are even contested.
Yep.
Maybe those ballot questions are a good reason for some people to show up, because there's going to be a ballot question on the stipends. There's also going to be another one to lower the income tax rate.
Yep.
And I'm sure there'll be one that our auditor, Diana DeZocoli, is trying to pass to make Beacon Hill subject to open meeting laws,
And
which
I
they are
love her
not
to
subject
death,
to, by the way.
I love her to death, but I asked her the same question. You've already done this once. They've already blocked you once. Why are you teasing us and making us believe that this is going to make a difference?
There's nothing in the Constitution preventing these open meeting laws. And so they won't have a constitutional argument against imposing
But
it.
they're still not going to do it. They don't need an argument.
and the
because
reality
the voters
is-
are going to still put them back in. Every single person who voted for Diana DeZoglio's measure is outraged at the legislature, and they're all going to return their state reps. Every single one of those people is going to get reelected.
That is the problem.
That is exactly it.
The election of the officials are really what matters. If you don't like, everybody hates Congress. Everybody hates Beacon Hill,
But not their
they all
congressman.
like their
Right,
congressman, their representative, because they bring home
Because
the
Trump's
bacon.
a fascist.
Yeah, well, or because they bring home, road funding or this funding or that funding. The reality is, again, back to the power of the speaker. This is all handed out to support the people who support, the overall policies that one or two people.
Well,
want.
if the media did a better job on exposing this, if we had
But
more
they're on
people
the
like
side
the
of the
Valley
media.
Patriot,
The media doesn't
then the
do
voter
it.
would know that. But
You can't have communism if the media is not on the side of the party.
Correct.
And the media's on the side of the party. I mean,
That's
you have
exactly right.
there is no opposition.
You go to the Boston Globe, you go to NPR, every single person there is a Democrat.
Even the Herald, even the
Yeah.
the so-called
the Herald has
conservative
maybe
media.
two writers that will speak out against these people. Maybe
They got
Howard
no power.
but they don't. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And
That's
honestly,
exactly it.
even many of the Republicans at the State House, they're afraid to do too much because they don't have the numbers. And it's funny. I've talked to different people about their feeling, and some people, if they're not hardcore MAGA, they don't want to support the Republican.
Yep.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Me
I mean,
neither.
certainly, I'm very conservative. That said, I want people who are going to reflect the population. Massachusetts, give or take 40%, 45%, depending on the day, is conservative. And if you look at Beacon Hill, the numbers aren't reflected.
Right.
I mean, almost think we'd be better off having a proportional representation.
We need a constitutional amendment, state constitutional amendment, and a federal constitutional amendment that the number of congressional districts has to coincide with the number of Republicans and Democrats. And that way, if 40% of your electorate in Massachusetts is Republican, 40% of your state reps districts should be Republican.
We don't have one Republican in New England in Congress, right? Not one.
Yep.
But if you look, New England has a decent Republican population. I mean, it's not a majority. I mean, winner take all is the problem. But I'll also argue with you, Tom, about you said you don't love term limits.
I hate them.
I get it, and your feeling is basically they can scorch earth on the way out.
And they do.
However,
I can give you 20 examples.
but they can also do what they think the right thing to do is, because they're not beholden to the supporters. They're not beholden to the donors.
Yeah, but they never do.
Well,
they never do. I can give you 20 examples of previous mayors in Lawrence, previous mayors in other communities.
Then that's because we brought in the wrong people in the first place. If you bring in good people,
but they're all the
they're
wrong
going to
people.
do.
They're all
well,
the wrong. I mean, with very few exceptions.
If you bring in,
No.
if you bring in good people, they're going to do what they think the right thing is.
But you know what's crazy? Most of the people that go into government for the first time are usually good people, but they
Thank
get
you.
corrupted by the
become-
parties.
Well,
Thank
because
you.
of the
To both
process.
parties.
It's
That's
the
what it is.
process.
It is the process.
It's
Absolutely.
the fact
They have to
that
sell their soul as
to
soon as
get
they,
more
as soon
than
as
the
they're
80
sworn in.
grand a year.
Yeah, if they want to stay in
If they
power,
want- yep.
they have to do what leadership
Back
says.
to the
If they-
stipend. If
look
they
how they treated Diana DeZoglio when she was a state rep.
Her own
And then-
party turned on her.
Crucified
Her
her.
own party just.
Yeah.
Although, by
They
the way,
beat
the
the
St.
crap out of her.
Patrick's Day breakfast, I mean, she crushed it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, phenomenal.
She usually does.
I mean,
Phenomenal.
she absolutely crushed it. Not
Yeah.
only did she kill the song, the lyrics, everything. And,
It's
I mean,
true.
I'm sure there are a lot of people in their 50s, 60s saying, what the hell's this song she's singing? But
Right.
we know, right?
We're hit.
There you go.
No,
All
she's
right.
doing it. Well, thank you, Tom. Appreciate the
All
time.
right, thank you for coming in. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. I'd love to have you for the whole show because this is really fun.
We'll do it again.
We got to do this three-way dynamic again because I
I
think
love
this
doing
actually
it.
works
There you
really
go.
well.
Thank
I
you,
like it
Thomas.
too.
Thank you, Lenny. By
All
the
right,
way,
good to meet you,
we
Lenny.
are working on our documentary for those at home who are wondering.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. We sent Lenny out to on Election Day in Lawrence to get B-roll footage and interview people and talk to people about voter fraud and who they were voting for and all that. And I always say, and I've been saying it for a very long time, that you can always tell if the national narrative on any particular issue. She's coming in, so you don't.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to move it out of the way.
You can always tell if the national narrative on any particular issue is full of shit or it's real by looking at the local level. And if you want to look at voter ID, if you want to look at voter fraud, you look at Lawrence. And right now, former Lawrence City Councilor Wendy Luzon is all over Facebook the last 2 days talking about how we have to stop voter ID. Women won't be able to vote. This is horrible.
The misinformation
it's
is
the
so
it's the most
ridiculous.
horrible thing in the world.
So
and I said, wait a minute,
ridiculous.
Wendy, you sat on a city council last year where one of your colleagues,
She
a
believes
Lawrence
it.
City councilor, is sitting in prison right now for voter fraud, and you're up there saying there's no such thing as voter fraud, and that we have to kill the SAVE Act because women won't be able to vote. Well, women too stupid to vote? Is that what you're saying?
She posted something this morning like women are not going to be able to. Basically, what the SAFE Act is saying, women
It's
are not going to be able to
bullshit.
vote.
It's just dishonest.
The whole thing's ridiculous.
Please listen. I would respect you if you said we want illegals to vote.
Yeah.
Because that's
She
really the
believes it.
answer.
She believes what she says.
I know she does, and
My
that's why
fav-
I love her to death. But she's
Because of
wrong.
that.
100%.
My favorite is when they try to say it's racism or something, and you're like, then they do man on the street interviews, and I think Jesse
90% of
Waters
black
said what-
people.
90% of black people, like, yeah, no, that's okay. Do you have
Right.
ID? You're like, yeah, of course I have ID. Like, why would you think they don't have ID? It's just
Right.
such a stupid thing.
Because they want illegals to vote.
Of
Yeah.
course, that's
They want
what I mean.
illegals
That's
to vote.
say
That's
it.
what it is.
But why do we have to lie? Why do we have to say
Well, because
it's illegal to go to Iran? Voter ID is right. Why can't you just say what you? I don't want to go to Iran. I think it's wrong.
But
voter
back,
ID is going to hurt us with illegals.
Go back 25 years, and Chuck Schumer was on the floor of
Right,
the, of
exact
the House
opposite
saying
view.
the exact opposite of what he's saying now. Literally standing at the same podium and saying the exact opposite. It doesn't matter what he truly believes. It matters what side is his people are on and what
Right.
side what Trump is on. Quite frankly,
We've got to give Janet Aldridge 5 or 10 minutes. She wanted to come on to talk about the bash. I have no idea what she wanted to talk about, but she wanted to come on and talk about the bash. So we wanted to have her on.
Be nice, Tom. He's not in a good mood.
No,
today,
I'm being
Janet.
nice.
Hi,
I'm
Janet.
being nice. I'm saying she didn't tell me what it is, so I can't give you the preview of she's here to say because she didn't tell us.
I mean,
So
she's got something on her
I
lap
figured
here.
she
We'll
wanted to
see.
surprise us with a donation or something. So
Well, the thing is,
Something
you're
like
taking
that.
a big risk letting me have 10 minutes, so I'm
All right, we'll
I've got
say
a
4.
timer going on.
we'll say 4.
How's the ears? Does it sound this good?
Everything's good right
Right.
here. So I'm just bringing my sign, which comfilm.com. I'm the head of
Comfilm.com.
stop. I'm comfilm with an I, imaginary I.
so the eye's there. You have
The
a
I's
Sharpie?
in there.
Anybody have a Sharpie?
No, we don't put it in. And the CPPI Archive Project, which is the Coalition to Preserve the Public Record. So this topic we're talking about with Diana DiZoglio is my topic. And so just for people who don't know who I am, I've been on Beacon Hill for 23 years, and I have tried to open up the courts to independent press. And
You're a First Amendment Award winner at the Valley Patriot Bash from, I think, 10 years ago, right? Didn't you going to win a First
a
Amendment
long
Award?
time ago, I was looking at the numbers. I was going at the courts in 2014, so I don't.
Well,
I
that's
don't
probably
know.
when we did it,
12 years
2014,
ago.
yeah.
12 years ago.
Yeah. So the last 4 years was a stretch for me because I was hospitalized and I kind of went out of commission. But right now I consider myself back. And this year
Oh, you look better than Tom.
I love how she didn't say I'm back. She said I consider myself back.
I consider myself back because
73% of voters say you're back.
I want to make. Yeah. Well, my group, Commonwealth of Mass Freelance Media Registry, now has a car, an official car with a sign on it outside. If anyone sees me around town, I would love to have you post on Facebook and tell me you saw me.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to be doing a fundraiser this whole year to actually incorporate the Coalition to Preserve the Public Record, which will allow the people who do the footage, the members, we have 50 members, we're in 7 states, and I actually have more in the queue, but I do have a new person, an admin staff, and so she's going to be helping me kind of catch some of these specific things like getting people registered. So I have like 25 people.
And by the way, I am a card-carrying member of Conflumentum.
So the whole thing, the reason I planned that name, that crazy name, is when I'm incorporated, that I will go in.
Because she had no creativity, that's why.
Okay.
The I will go in it. So that's waiting. So when when we're incorporated.
You're going to have to issue new IDs to everybody.
Right.
No, I won't.
because women won't be able to vote.
No, we're not going to do that. It's just
In 20,
but anyway,
in 20
the membership cards. Okay, I don't want to have him let him interrupt me here too many times.
You don't want that.
Because I have ADD and a few other things.
And 3 minutes.
He has a few other things too. So that's fine. You're fine.
A lot of other things.
It'll add a lot of forgetfulness here. Plus, I'm a senior now. You know that I'm 83.
Wow.
So I've been doing this
And
since
Ralph
I was
Wilbur's
60.
94 today? Ralph Wilbur? 94.
Yeah.
94.
Yeah,
God
Ralph,
bless him.
happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday.
He was one of the
Happy birthday.
original Valley Patriot founders.
Yes, he is.
Wow.
He's a wonderful
Ralph
gentleman.
Wilbur.
I've had the pleasure of knowing for a long time, and I appreciate him a lot.
And his daughter, Christy, and I started off hating each other, but then we ended up loving each other.
Well, that's kind of your way, isn't
That
it?
is
You
really
hate,
kind of
you hate
his
a lot
way.
of people in town.
Most
and then
people
you
hate
end
me when
up
they first
loving
meet me. And
You
then I grow on
are an acquired taste.
That's very true.
You are an acquired taste.
That's not even a joke. That's
the
actually
first
true.
time I sipped scotch, it didn't taste so good.
Right,
So
true.
yeah,
But I want to
takes a bit.
compliment the Valley Patriot News for their dedication to raising money for the students and the kids in this area, and really beefing up that concept. I mean, he's raised what, $80,000 already now.
We're at 76,000.
He'll get
Almost
to 80.
77.
He'll get to 84 minimum, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
I'm praying and hoping that it will go to 100 by the bash. I'm
Yeah,
really
That's a big number.
That's a little
big number.
wild for us.
Well,
but
we think of it as a stretch, but So Tom asked ComFilm to cover the bash, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to speak here, because our members, we do pro bono work, and but we've done this bash a number of times, and he just found a brand new venue, and it's very difficult for media and sound and all of that to play in correctly. So I just want to say to the people that are coming to understand that this project, we produce the best videos that we can. We want everyone, to be happy with the results.
you can plug into the soundboard. I talked to the DJ. You can plug into the soundboard.
But the
And can you
situation,
Photoshop a couple chins?
The situation in the room where it's so many pockets, people walk in front of cameras. So we're going to try to
Right.
bring some sanity to this situation this year. So, but I just want to, thank Tom for inviting ComFilm to come. And I'm hoping that some of the members of ComFilm will show up for the bash and we can get a table.
That'd be great.
I would love it.
It would be nice if some of my Republican friends could show up once in a while. They all hated me and called me a rhino, which is weird because I'm not a Republican anymore. But they all hated me and called me a rhino because I was pushing Diana DiZoglio. Paul Craney from Mass Fiscal called me a traitor and a rhino, and then told people not to come to my bash because I was helping Democrats. And who are they all supporting today? They're all supporting Diana DiZoglio, aren't they? So, and I never got an apology either. But it would be nice if they would come back because Diana's going to be there. She's going to get up and
Right.
sing, I think.
There you go.
And also, just because everyone's down on Mariano, I want to salute him for ComFilm Registry because he has made the legislative public hearings recorded since last January. So this is
nice.
second year around. So now anyone who wants to join the registry, okay, you can be a reporter even from home. You can tap in. You can get on the website and cover these public hearings. We need a lot of press on public hearings,
Right.
and that's what I started out
And you would
trying to emphasize.
immediately be a member of the Valley Patriot family. If you join Conflumentum, you would immediately become a member of the Valley Patriot family.
you want to enlist them for reporters?
Well, no, what I'm saying is I'm a member. So if they post something on your page, I can use it. I can aggregate it.
They're
and we
like
can
a
report on
second
it.
cousin or something.
Yeah, okay. That's cool.
So
Yeah, so
too bad there aren't cameras
so
and
MA
microphones in the back offices.
Yeah,
though,
you don't
right?
want that.
That's
Trust me,
right.
you don't
That's-
want that.
So MA at legislature.gov/events is where you find the public hearings. And any day when you get up and have your coffee in the morning, you can be sitting there, pick a hearing, and watch the hearing. I really
You might need more coffee though.
I have covered 500 public hearings from end to end, and I competed with House Broadcast one year and covered 100 public hearings.
Wow.
And when they would tell me, we can't do all those, okay, So now we see House Broadcast is doing all of those. And every legislature in the state needs to be doing all the public hearings, and they're not. And that was my problem and my dilemma when I was up there. I kept running into legislators who said that they're not under the public record law. They don't have to cover it. They don't have to tell you they're covering, and they don't have to give you the information. So this has been my battlefront. And I want to raise up citizen journalists across the country. I want it in every single state. So I don't want to take any more time away from.
Okay, thanks. Goodbye.
You're so bad.
Tom.
You want Lenny back?
Be nice.
You put Lenny.
I am being nice.
That is-
Apologize.
I will say one thing.
That is
in 20,
Tom's nice.
in 20, right? See, she
Apologize.
gets me.
You
Tom,
should say
apologize.
he's
She
bad.
gets me.
Apologize. She
In
took her
tw-
time to be
In
here.
2014, when I rewrote the public record, when I submitted my bill to rewrite the state's public records law, Janet not only came to cover it, she testified for us. She has been on the forefront. She has done far more than I've ever done for public records. And she's right. The minute that they got that out of committee and they sent it to the floor, the very first amendment was to exempt themselves, exempt the court, and exempt the governor's office. So they were like, you know what? Everyone else has to be transparent, just like everything else. The city of Lawrence has to be transparent. The DEP has to be transparent, just not us.
Well, that's always the legislature always exempts themselves.
Yeah.
This Congress does the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
and-
how many laws are they exempt from?
Exactly.
A huge
but
Almost
this
all
is-
of them.
A huge
This is
number.
national problem,
Yeah.
and I uncovered this. And I
If
was
it's a
in
great idea
shock
for
many
everyone else,
times.
it's probably
Right.
a great idea for them as
100%.
well.
I
Right.
was in shock, falling over, and couldn't get up many times,
Yeah.
trying to understand that they were not under the public record law. Can you believe it?
I remember Dempsey coming over to me the day after the vote, and he goes, "Tom, you must be real happy." I go, "What? That you exempted yourself? Yeah. Like how does that? How would that make me happy? So I can't find out what. And this is why Diana wants an audit. She wants an audit not for the money that they're spending on the state police or the roads or the DEP. She wants an audit of what they spend on themselves when they go to Israel, when they go to Ukraine, when they go somewhere else, and they bill the taxpayers. We don't know if they're billing us for high-priced hotels, prostitutes, food. We have no idea. We have no idea what they're
What's a
spending that
fucking-
money on.
We can't even know how much they spend on a trip at this
No,
moment.
no. They
Fun
exempted
things.
themselves from the public records law.
Wow.
Probably settling lawsuits too, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
That slush fund that they
The
use
slush
to
fund to settle
lawsuits
lawsuits.
for sexual harassment, sexual assault in the legislature.
Yep.
You have state reps that sexually assaulted women in the legislature, and they're using your tax money to pay them off to keep them silent.
And non-disclosure
And the
agreements and
proof,
everything else.
and the proof we have is Diana DeZoglio was the victim of it when she worked for State Rep Paul Adams.
People know this?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we've done whole shows on it.
Yeah, what about?
She thought we were breaking news. Oh my God!
And when I was starting, we had Diane Wilkerson stuffing money
I
in her
remember
bra.
that. I remember that.
That was
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, listen,
I
we
remember that
we have
too.
to get to our Bash Scholarship kids and everything, but I appreciate you coming in, Janet. Listen,
Okay.
you do tremendous work. I am
Thank you
proud
so
to have
much.
given you a First Amendment award. I wish we could give you another one, but we can't give we can't give the same award to everybody every year.
Well, I'll
but
take
you
a trip
certainly
somewhere.
you certainly
Well,
deserve a
anyone
state.
who wants to donate to Comfilm, please do it now.
Yeah,
okay?
donate to Confilm.
Yeah, donate because I need gas money.
She
to
does need
get
gas
around
money.
the town around the state this year.
Come see me the night of the Bash. I'll make a donation.
Well, no, thank you. That's cool. But I like the donation that you're doing to stay with you, okay? But Comfilm
Remember I offered.
Registry is going to be
If Tommy's actually willing to
fundraising
give
around
somebody
the
money, you
state.
might wanna take
And
it. That
please,
doesn't
if you
happen
want-
often.
If you want more of this conversation in this shrieky voice, then please invite me to come and speak to your group, okay? Thank you.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, Janet.
To answer John Salvestano's question, he goes, what do you know that we don't, Doug? 84,000 from your lips to God's ears. And I suspect, he hasn't told me that, I suspect he's been sitting on donations that he hasn't been adding to the tote board. That's what I think.
No, I'm just
you're not?
I'm knowing what I know what's coming.
You see where it's
I
going?
see it. I see it's coming. At 84 grand minimum, guaranteed.
Wow. Wow.
Take it to the bank. And,
All right.
So you're having another child after the
No,
one
I'm
now?
done. What are you talking about that? No, I have 5 kids.
No. I'm
That's-
talking about the
three.
scholarship
We have 3
kids.
kids.
Oh no. So
We have
we're
3 kids.
so we're a little bit different, unlike the rest of the scholarships.
I like that, too.
We wanted to just have multiple kids receive a lower amount. And by the way, I have a bone to pick with him. He keeps pointing to the lowest person on the totem pole on the tote board and says, "Hey, that's getting the least amount, get the lowest scholarship kid." My scholarship kids, the Andover scholarship recipients, will be the lowest scholarship recipients, but that's by design.
Right. They're
Because
splitting it.
my goal is to be top 2 or 3 as far as fundraising. I want our fund to be the second or third largest but I want
he's
our
dividing
kids. We're splitting it among 3 kids, so
Right.
we're getting a way broader impact. It's still $5,000. So I decided when we were doing this, we wanted to just give people more than one kid to benefit. We started with a great kid. We wanted to raise money for her scholarship. Once we hit 5,000, we're going to now fill the next bucket. So we successfully raised 5,000 for the first kid. We've raised 5,000 for the second kid, and now we're working on kid number 3, whose scholarship currently sits at 0, but it won't end up that way.
Right.
And the goal is to get her to 5,000. If we had another month and we hit that number, I'd probably roll out a 4th kid, but I don't want to start and give somebody $600. So at the end of the day, if we get a little extra, we'll just divide it amongst them.
3.
But I expect the Andover recipients to be the lowest per capita recipient. So when you start, getting donations and they want to look at the bottom of the tote board, don't look at the bottom of the tote board. Look at the kids who are getting the least. But bottom line is those are going to be the Andover
But you
kids.
can't give to those kids anymore, so that's why I'm not calling it the bottom of the tote board.
Once we hit 15,
but we haven't hit that yet. That's what I'm saying.
Get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
I'm confident. We've some very generous friends, very generous donors. A lot of members of the Andover Rotary Club have individually donated. Obviously, a lot of friends, people who are very charitable that they've worked with. Mike Tarshi over at Dental Bright.
Mike's a great guy.
I saw he donated $1,000 to one of Tom's scholarships, and then I said, "Wait a second, what the heck?" Mike is
because he gives to us every year.
Mike is my boy. You can't go giving it to Tom.
He was Donald Trump's apprentice, right?
That
was so much fun.
He's
watching him do The Apprentice on TV was so much fun.
So here's what I'll tell you. So Mike was in my office in the law firm the day that, remember, Trump had that big event at Herb Chambers' house or whoever it was, or Ernie Bach's house, whoever it was. So Mike was in my office, and I said to him, "Hey, are you going to that thing?" And he goes, "Huh, I probably should. I'm the only apprentice in New England." He's like, "I'm going to call his publicist." So he calls Trump's publicist, and 3 hours later on Facebook, I see Mike Tarshi holding a glass of something with the gigantic, Herb Chambers' house behind him. He was there. He was on the Trump train from the beginning.
Yep.
And, Mike's a great guy.
His dad was the greatest guy.
Very charitable.
He was so good to me. When I knew his dad, I was going through a very rough period after my dad got killed. Okay. His father was very, very good to me and my family. Very good to us.
And I didn't have the pleasure of meeting his dad, but I've heard great things. I mean, he honestly, the whole family's a good group of people. Mike has a heart of gold.
Yeah, he does.
His wife's a total sweetheart.
I was at his wedding. You want to talk about a great wedding? This guy in the middle of his wedding gets up, jumps up on stage, takes the guitar away from the guitarist in the band, and starts slamming to Don't Stop Believing. I think it was Don't Stop Believing by Journey. And he's just killing it on the guitar. And everybody's looking at him thinking he's faking it. I was standing right there. He wasn't faking it. We got it on video.
I didn't even know Mike plays the guitar.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Really?
He just jumps up and starts playing. I'm like, holy crap.
And, he's not a dentist. His wife is.
Yeah.
But in these things here, this is all their work.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of veneers. I had broke a tooth years ago. I'm probably the reason they have those cushions on the bumper boats at Clark's Trading Post. We went with family, and my face went straight into that explains the rest of it. And broke a tooth in half, so it was bonded. And years later, bonding doesn't last forever. So I said we need to clean it up.
Did someone say bondage?
Bondage, yes.
Oh,
bondage.
bondage. Okay.
I'm like,
all right,
BTK.
But literally, so I went in and Dr. Sharifi over at Dental Bright made me look like, and she can't take credit for the rest of this. This is just unfortunately what she was up against. But the teeth, phenomenal.
I was just kidding about BTK. I'm not trying to make it fun. Sorry.
Why not?
Because I said because I bondage hurt or kill.
I mean, you've met me, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but you don't want to be compared to BTK.
She might be offending somebody on the internet. Not certainly
we
not
don't
us.
care.
We don't offend you.
We don't give a shit.
We don't. I don't care. Just saying something.
You've met me, right? So let's start with our tote board. We have a new tote board. Okay. I was gonna post it this morning, but I said let's save this for the show. We have broken so many records, and the most recent record that we broke was right before we went on the air. We got I think $300 donation for the Lawrence High School Junior ROTC Scholarship, bouncing them from 5th place to 3rd. And we now have, for the first time ever, 5 kids on this tote board that are ahead. That are above.
5 scholarships, because my kids aren't at 10 grand.
Jesus
Just
Christ.
saying.
It's a colon, not a semicolon. Nobody cares. We have 5 scholarships that are above $10,000. We've never had that. And if you look, the Whittier Tech girl, she's only about $800. away from 10,000, and we've got a week to go. So if we can get another $800 out of Scott Wood and Michelle Delano, who are Team Whittier, that are raising money for us, I do want to point out, if you look at the Phil Glendy, 1, 2, 3, 4 down, the Phil Glendy Special Needs Scholarship, that's Kellen St. Marie. We're going to talk about him in a minute, from Methuen High School. And who's the other one? The Greater Lawrence Tech, she's second. Isabel Dupree, the Greater Lawrence Tech, Don and Kelly Messina Scholarship at $11,000. My team, Team Methuen, which consisted of Patricia Valley, Kristen Maxwell, Nellie Soto, Alejandro Baez, and I know I'm going to forget some people because I didn't write all these down for today, but they went and they had a bingo night, and they raised like $2,800.
But not music bingo.
No,
which has
regular
been like
bingo.
a thing.
Yeah, B7.
This is literally bingo.
Yeah.
Like, this is like blue hair old ladies and whatever.
heard-
And how much did she raise?
She raised, I think it was like $2,800.
God
we
bless
split
her.
$1,400
God
for each
bless
kid.
her.
For bingo, that's
On a
great.
regular
That's
bingo.
crazy.
On a
That's
great.
regular, and I want to thank Jen Canan, who everybody thinks we hate each other, and for a while I think maybe we kind of did. But but she heard that we were doing this for the two Methuen kids, and she lived right down the street, and she came with Lynn Perino, and she spent money, and she played bingo, and she won a basket, and then turned to me and said, "Here, put this on the raffle table at your bash."
There you go.
So we had Ronnie Marsan was there. We had an awful lot of people that were there to help us out. Estella Reyes came, Francisco Polino came, and they dropped a lot of money. That's a lot of money for that room. And all of that money got split in half between the two Methuen kids. We have a great bash committee, and I'm going to thank them at the end. But this is what we look like 8 days before the bash. Last year, we had an all-time high of $68,075.
At the end.
That was so a week after the bash, checks were still coming in that hadn't pledged.
Right.
That we added to the tote board. So a week after the bash, our grand total for the entire year was $68,075. We've already crushed that. We've broken so many records. The Greater Lawrence Tech has never been that high. I think the highest it was 8,900 last year. The only one on this board that has not broken a record. Every single one here has broken a record, except for the Lawrence High School. Last year, we topped off at $13,100. And so we did lose. We lost the RDT Demula scholarship. That was $2,000. And we also lost the New England PBA scholarship, which was also $2,000. So right now he'd be at $14,000 if we hadn't lost those two yearly scholarships that normally come in. We are waiting on Walmart. Walmart came in for $3,000 last year. They came in for $2,000 the year before, $2,000 the year before that. So
The local Walmart?
Yeah, the Walmart in Methuen at the Loop.
From the family? The
Yeah, the Walmart family. They have their own charity.
Walton family.
Yeah, they have their own charity account.
And
So
they support you?
yeah, they gave us
That's
They gave us $3,000
Aren't they, like,
last year.
super liberal?
I don't know, but they love what we do.
Kids
So
That's awesome.
the woman that they have in charge, her name is Bernice, the woman they have in charge of their charity account, was following us on Facebook 3 years ago and couldn't believe what we were doing. And she called a member. She knows a member of our bash committee that's connected to TMF. And she said, "Are these guys on the up and up? Do you know these guys?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm actually on the bash committee." She was like, "If you submit an application, we will make sure that you get some kind of money."
Wow.
And so they gave us, I think the first year, 1,000, then 2,000, then 2,000. Last year they gave us 3. So no, we're not expecting it. If they can't this year because we're obviously doing very well. But that is also a possibility that if they give us 3, we will evenly divide it among every kid.
Yeah.
Every kid, not
There you
every
go.
scholarship,
There you
and
go.
we'll make sure that every kid gets a little piece of that $3,000.
There you go.
Also, Zaka gave us $4,000 last
amazing.
year. And by the way, every single year, going back to the very first bash that we gave out a scholarship, Mike Gagliardi, president of the Labor's Union Local 175, has carried us. He gave us, at least for the last 10 years, he's given us $5,000 every year for these
Wow,
scholarships.
that's huge.
$5,000 he's given us out of the Labor's Union Local. Mike Gagliardi, president of the Labor's Midget. He's given us every single year. And by the way, in 10 years, that's $50,000 that he's given us. That doesn't include the
Quick
ads.
math.
That doesn't. Well, I went to Lawrence High. I had to do this first.
Yeah.
But that doesn't include the money that he spends on advertising at election time. It doesn't count the support that he gave to TMF. He needs to have a conversation with Vivian Marmol, though. That's
And
a
by the way,
conversation we have to have.
Obviously give him credit for writing the check and helping what you do,
100%.
but it's also the members.
It is,
and
100%.
he would probably be the first to say it. They have the money because of the members,
Right.
so those members are all contributing. So
Yep.
they should feel good about that. And I mean, it's just, I think you mentioned about liberal conservative. It's so funny because Tom had said this years ago. Bash night is amnesty night, right? Like no one, we don't care who you are.
We don't care your politics.
I've gotten donations from very liberal people who are friends and very conservative people. Yeah. The reality is this money is not going to Tom. This money's going to the kids, and every penny goes to the kids. I mean, there are some people who generously sponsor the event. That's different. But anything going to the scholarships, 100% goes to the kids. You don't need to have a political ideology to agree with that.
Right.
No,
So,
and it's a good thing for kids to see that we're coming together.
Well, in a world that people don't, right? In a world that nobody comes together about anything, if you disagree, you're the enemy. That's not what this is. This night is exactly the opposite
If
of that.
Dan Shabilia walks in the door the night of the bash, everyone on my team knows. I've drilled this into their heads. If Dan Shabilia or Laurie Keegan walks in the night of the bash and they want to help us, we will welcome them. We will buy them a drink. We can go back to hating them on Sunday or Saturday. But everyone in that room, that is a safe space. If you want to come help us raise money for these kids, or you want to cheer on one of our award winners that we're going to talk about in a minute, I don't care if it's Jim Jajuga who has sued me. There's only 2 people not allowed at that bash on the whole planet.
Who?
Kelly and Debo, because they'll try to steal the money. If they come in, they'll try and steal the raffle items. Other than that, there's no personal. I don't
John?
care.
What's his name?
I don't care who it is. Who?
D'Amico? John D'Amico?
John D'Amico. If you
D'Amico,
want,
yeah.
listen. If he wants it, we would have to have a security guy follow him around so he doesn't steal anything. But anybody that wants to come, I don't care what our political views are. I don't care if you voted against TMF. Yep. Whatever's going on that night, this is a night where the grown-ups in the community come together and say, we're mature enough to put aside our personal beefs, our political beefs, and say, we're here for the kids and really mean it, and really mean it. And you have to really mean it. And, there have been nights when I've gotten up and we were at that Reliefs. I remember the night that I got up at the Reliefs Inn, and that the morning of the bash, I was driving around in my car. Willie Lantigua was on Spanish language radio calling me a racist. And he didn't just say I was a racist. He said, Tom Duggan hates Latinos because his father was murdered by a Latino. So he added in my father in there to make people believe that I had this deep-seated hatred for Latinos.
Credibility.
And the night of the bash, I'm up giving my speech, and who walks through the effing door? Willie Lantigua walks in the door. So one of my team members went over, and I saw her going over to him to tell him to leave. And I said into the microphone, Willie Lantigua's here. Someone please buy him a drink. Willie, you are welcome. Willie, you are welcome. And the whole room stopped and they went, wait, what?
Someone that talks about your dad, you allowed him in? I wouldn't.
He was there to write a check for our scholarship kids.
Got it. Okay.
And it's not about me, and it's not about my dad. As mad as I was mad, but he walked in the door, and I said, you know what? This is a learning moment for everybody. And I saw one of my team members, I think it was Maria Fiato, was on her way over to tell him to leave. And I got right to the microphone and said, Willie's here. Someone buy him a drink. You are welcome. Thank you for coming to support our kids. And if you're not willing to do that, if you're going to be a Dan Shabilia and you don't want to do that because, it's Tom Duggan's bash, he's collecting the money, that says something about you, not me. Because there is nobody on the planet except Kelly and Debo who are not allowed at this event, and it's only because they've sued me, they've had me arrested, they had me put in jail, and they're thieves, and I don't want them in the room.
If you think about this now, this year the keynote speaker is who?
This year it's Paul Tucker.
Okay, who prosecuted you?
Yeah, he did. He prosecuted me.
So he actually prosecuted.
He tried to
you.
put me in jail.
He was there last year. This year, if Dan comes, that would be great.
I would love it if he came.
That actually happened, which I would love to see it myself.
Me too.
But if that happened,
I would gain respect for him if he did that.
Next year, we will have to arrange to actually bring the stairs that you fell down to the meeting. Because if you went from somebody prosecuting you to somebody you're in a blood feud with, and then it would be the stairs that almost paralyzed you.
Right.
I mean, that should 100% be on the docket for next year.
Every year is someone
We're going to
new.
step it up.
Right.
And fortunately, Tom is the type of guy who every year there is somebody new.
Right?
Like there is.
That is actually very funny.
If we don't have an enemy next year that Tom has created,
there'll be an enemy. Trust me.
This is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's about this.
Right.
It's about that.
I didn't expect you to be this funny, Doug.
I think I'm funny as hell.
Funny that Scott would, that's for sure.
Oh, 100%. I told you that to begin with. But this is a 76,000 and change.
That's fucking amazing.
Which is great. We're solidly into the 80s in my eyes. It's going to happen. And
Cody's going to show up with another 5. They're not fooling around. The Cody people, they hold off till the end. What they do is they hold fundraisers, and then they call me. And if they raise like $5,000, they'll call me and go, Tom, I want you to add $2,500 to the tote board that we collected, and I'll bring it that night. But we know they collected more. Like we don't know how much more, but we know they collected more.
They've got a great family. Obviously, with some tragedy with Dan, and the father passing away this past year.
Yeah, let's talk about some of our kids.
Very well respected.
Can we pull those up? Let's talk about each of these scholarships. So this is our first kid. This is Kellen St. Marie from Methuen High School, and he's receiving the Phil Glendy Special Needs Scholarship. Is there a way? I want to get the
tote board.
I want to get the tote board. Can you Oh wait, it's in my emails, right?
Yes.
Did I email that?
Let me see if I can add it here too. But look for it.
Yeah, if you could just have it somewhere on the screen, even if it's like smaller behind that. Okay. Actually, I can just pull it up here, so I'm good. I think. When it decides it wants to work.
No, it's gonna change the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
What are you looking
All right,
for?
I got
The number?
No, I wanted the tote board in front of me, so I have it. So this is Kellen St. Marie. Kellen is he is going to be a special needs teacher, so he certainly qualified for our Phil Glendy Special Needs Scholarship. Phil Glendy was a special needs teacher at Methuen High School. At Lawrence High School, and he ran the Special Olympics at the stadium every year. And he used to call me he gave me no advance notice. He didn't say, hey, next week is a Special Olympics, next month is a Special Olympics, hey, next June is the Special Olympics. He would call me the morning of the Special Olympics at 7 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, Tom, Special Olympics this morning, you coming down to take pictures? And you know me, I go to bed at like 5:30, right? So I had like an hour's sleep. So I would get up because it's Phil. And Phil came to our bash every year. He bought a table every year with his wife and his sister. And he has always helped us with the Lawrence High School alumni scholarships. So I would get up, I would take a shower, I would barely make it to the stadium. Everybody was all happy because all the special needs kids are all happy, and I would just be like, "Oh, all this happiness, I just can't stand it all. I need sleep." And then Phil would show up, and he would just be beaming, and he'd be working with these special needs kids, and you could tell the love that they had for him was amazing. So when he passed away, it was shortly before our bash back, I think in 2018, and we were heartbroken that he wasn't going to be with us. And I think it was Chris Eldridge or Rick Melanson that said, maybe we should do a scholarship in his name. And I was like, oh, my God, that's a great idea. So we used to go to a kid from Lawrence High School, but it was hard to find a special needs kid or someone going into special needs at Lawrence High every year. So we expanded it to all of the schools, and every year we seem to get someone from Methuen High School. So this is Kellen. And right now, Kellen is at $10,150. Wow. He's fourth on the tote board, but he's only like $25 out of third place, and he's like $800 out of second. He's doing really well, and I actually met him the night of the bingo with his family, really nice people. You see the QR code. If you also see the scroll at the bottom if you'd like to make a donation. Please make sure that you say which kid you want it to go to. If you don't say which kid you want it to go to, I'm gonna front load it to the kids at the bottom at Whittier and Dan Strange.
And Prime.
And we can't because you can't give that kid any of those kids anymore.
The third one.
Oh, the third one. We could do that. Yeah, 100%.
Intern girl's looking out for the.
Yep, no,
the
she's
Andover
right.
girl.
That's why I love having her around.
I like Andover.
On behalf of Meredith, I thank you.
Yes. Meredith's a nice kid.
I want to move to Andover.
You do?
I am.
Why? They're a bunch of fascists in Andover.
I like it better. It's quiet. It's peaceful.
It is quiet. The
school system.
When they're not yelling Trump is a fascist, it's very quiet.
The school system is a lot
They did
better.
have a nice anti-ice walkout yesterday.
Oh, they did? Yeah.
At the high school.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Well, they're outspoken.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
it's
by
the
the way,
school system too.
they're manipulated by the teachers, though.
But it was voluntary, and not everybody was out there protesting ice.
They should all be suspended. And they should get back in class, and they should learn something.
Apparently there's an act of the legislature that allows this sort of thing, and they did have to get permission in advance, and they did. Which, by the way, protests that get permission in advance aren't really protests.
Right. Exactly.
I know.
But when you go to the man for permission to protest the man, it's kind of
when you're on the same side as Hollywood, the entire media, and 50% of the country, you're not really the resistance.
Correct.
All right, any apartments in Andover, like no more than $2,000 a month, please.
Yeah, and honestly, Andover, when you look at what apartments cost, and you look at the communities they're in, there's no direct correlation. Like some of the more affluent communities have apartments that are lower priced than the less desirable, less affluent communities. People think, oh, geez, it's Andover. I'm going to pay more to get there. That's not true. And honestly, when you look at the needs in the community, people think, geez, Andover's an affluent town.
Right.
Yes, there are certainly some people in Andover who've been blessed. And, through hard work, through everything else, they are where they are. But there's also people who don't have everything provided for them, and
because everybody
take for
thinks
granted,
Andover has money, they don't qualify. They don't get anything.
Correct, and honestly, that there are even foundations that they specifically when the Andover Rotary Club applies, they say sorry, not what we're trying to do,
right.
And we're not able to access funds that other cities and towns might.
When you approached me about doing Andover, I was very hesitant because I was like, we have a hard enough time getting people to give to the Voc because people think that kids going to the Voc are all going into carpentry and plumbing. Why do they need a scholarship? And they're going to look at Andover. They're going to Andover. They got plenty of money in Andover, and I didn't think we'd be able to get anybody. But
there's projects in Andover.
Well, there's projects everywhere. I mean, the reality is that I went to school in Newport, Rhode Island. People think Newport, Rhode Island. They think mansions, the Breakers, these Rose Cliff, all these beautiful big mansions. They don't realize it's the second largest concentration of Section 8 housing in the state of Rhode Island.
Really?
The second. Now, nobody understands that because it's not on Bellevue, right? It's not in front of people. Every community has their needs. Andover has multiple different places people go for food, for people who need it. There, some of the churches are very active. Some of the, there are other nonprofits. We are lucky that we do have people who are very generous who will support, these different charities. But again, a lot of the money that we raise also benefits neighboring communities like Lawrence. There are a lot of deserving charities in Lawrence that benefit, by donors from Andover. So
all right, we'll get to Andover in a second. Who was our next kid? Their intern girl.
Let's see. We have.
All right, so the young man on the far right, the little boy on the far right.
I thought it was the one to the left.
Yeah, I
I'm
know. We
sorry.
screwed up.
And
of course, they had to point it out right away, too, publicly. Oh, that was wrong.
Well, if you say it's his youngest child, I'm thinking it's the one on the right.
Yeah, right.
Well, I didn't know
She
that.
didn't know, though.
I didn't know that. I was just looking at the kids, whoever looks the closest to the one we have now, because they didn't give really good pictures.
Well, they do, over time, they tend to grow older. So the current age and the older kid would probably be closer.
That's true, yeah. That's true. No, I didn't know it was the youngest. I didn't know that.
You feed them, you water them, and they eventually grow up.
They grow
That's just
up,
kind of what happens.
So this scholarship was started right after Dan Cody, who was working for Cody's Towing, died in a drunk driving accident. People get mad when I say that, but that's what happened. The woman was found not guilty, but we all know what happened.
Just for clarity, who was drinking?
The woman who hit him.
Correct.
He got out of his truck to hook up a car.
No, 100%. He was working.
Wow.
Yeah,
he was being what we need in this country.
Yep.
People out there working.
Yep.
Just to be clear.
How do you get away with that?
So his funeral was right before our bash. It was like a week or two before our bash, and it went by my office. And when the funeral was over, a good buddy of ours, Al Valu, or Vayu, depending on how you want to say it, showed up at my office. He was in tears, and he had a check. And he said, "I know your bash is in a couple of weeks, or next week." He said, "I don't know if it's enough time to raise money, but I want to start a scholarship in Dan Cody's name, and I'm doing this because I'm hoping that when Dan's sons get old enough to go to college, that they can actually benefit from this scholarship fund, that you've built up enough credibility for this fund and for this bash that they'll make some money to go to college because they've lost their dad." And he was just so heartbroken that these two kids lost their dad, and all that means, not just losing your dad, but the financial support and everything else. So 2 years ago, I think maybe 3 years ago, we gave this scholarship to his oldest son, Patrick, who's on the left, my left, your right, maybe. Your left, my right. The bigger one, anyway. So Patrick, I think we gave him somewhere in the neighborhood of about $8,000, like $7,000 or $8,000, and it was a really special night that other kids had gotten that scholarship up until that time, and now the time came to give it to his son. It was a very special night for him, and now we get to do it again for his youngest son, Evan. And Evan has decided he's going to go to Northern Essex Community College after taking some time off high school. And when Nicole Cameron called me and said, my nephew has decided he's going to college, is it too late? I said, I don't care if I'd already picked a kid. I would find a way to make this work, and we did. So Evan is going to get this scholarship this year. The Dan Cody Memorial Scholarship is at the very top of our tote board right now at $12,830. That's going to be $15,000 before it's over. There's no question in my mind that they're sitting on donations that they haven't called in. And hopefully that's even going to go bigger. Hopefully that they're going to our highest total ever was, I think, and I'll get it before the end of the show when Doug's talking and you guys are paying attention to him. I think it was 14,100. But
it was 14. I want to say it was like 14.3 last year.
Yeah, I think
Lawrence,
so. Yeah,
I want to say it was 14.3 last year.
Yeah,
it was a good number. It was a big number.
So
that was the JROTC kid, right?
Yep. Eileen Suarez, I think, the one who got that. So
it was a guy.
Oh, so it was J. Ronnie Farron.
There you go.
Yeah, J. Ronnie Farron.
Oh, last year's scholarship? Yeah.
So, all right, so who's our next kid? Our next kid is...
Oh, that's him
that's
again?
Evan right there as a grown-up, and that's Dan Cody right there with his... So here is Edgar Castillo Sandoval. Castillo, see?
Yo, like, like the Y.
No. So this is Edgar Castillo Sandoval. He is a Lawrence High School junior ROTC cadet. Boy, I'd love to send you that picture. I'm going to send you another picture to just show like when we're done with this.
Okay.
Because I want to show you something really amazing about this scholarship. So Edgar he's going into the military. He's going to college. He's graduating. They gave us 2 superstar kids to choose from. So I'm the one that chooses this scholarship this year. Normally someone else does it, but this year I did it. So we asked the commander of the junior ROTC to give us their 2 best kids. And I don't want the kid that's getting a lot of scholarship money. I want the kid that needs it but deserves it the most. And they couldn't decide. They sent me 2 kids. It was very hard to decide between the 2 kids that they sent us, but we decided on Edgar because the other student that they sent us, the female student that they sent us, wanted to become a lawyer and she wanted to become a judge and she wanted to be king of the world, and all of those things are great. But he was going into the military, and this is the John Ratka hero. He's a hero veteran.
As an attorney, I was a little offended.
No,
the military thing, I get it. That's what this is.
So this is the John
100%.
Ratka veteran scholarship for the ROTC, started by Eugene Smith. Now this scholarship originally was our first scholarship ever. And we gave it to a kid named Devontae Jones at our very first bash. We raised $100 with a raffle, and we thought like he could use it for like an application or a fee. And that kid was so grateful for the $100. You would have thought we gave him $1 million.
Yeah.
And now that we've got Edgar right now is at $10,175. I feel like we should change those first few kids, the first few years. I wish we could go back and like maybe help them out a little bit more. Yeah. But this is really special. This is named after Eugene Smith. Came to me. He's on my board of the Lawrence Lions, and he came to me about 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, and he said, listen, I know you raise a lot of money for the kids at Lawrence High School. If I gave you $1,500 or $1,400, would you dedicate this scholarship to a kid who's an ROTC that's going into the military? And that's what we do, right?
Yep.
So I said, absolutely 100%. And we're even going to name it the Eugene Smith Scholarship. And then John Ratka died, so we added John Ratka's name to this. So it's the Eugene Smith John Ratka Memorial Scholarship for a Lawrence High School kid in ROTC going into the military. He's at $10,175. It's bizarre not seeing him in the top 2. I'm hoping Lawrence High alum kicks in. Please use the QR code or what you see at the bottom to send us money. And by the way, if you send us $100 and you don't use friends and family, we only get $97, but we kick in the extra $3 from our ticket money or sponsorships.
But don't do that.
Yeah, please don't. But some people do because they don't know. Yeah. But I want you to know that if you give $100 and we get $97, he's still getting $100. Every kid's still going to get what you donated, even if you screw up and you don't do friends and family and PayPal takes 3% or Venmo takes 3%. You give.
And by the way, be very careful when if you use the QR code. That's great. If you're typing it in, make sure it matches exactly. There are a couple people that, believe it or not, are pretending to be Tommy Duggan.
Yes.
I don't get it personally.
Trying to steal money
on PayPal.
But bottom line is there are extra.
Can you get rid of the dash at the end of Venmo? No, just separate the Tom Duggan 10 from support the bash, so that they don't think that's part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I don't know why I did it again.
Yeah.
The Tom-Duggan-10. There's no extra dashes. There's nothing else.
Yeah, there's no underlines afterwards. So there's 2 fake accounts that are trying to be me to try to get access to this money, and they want to try and fool you. So if you just search me on Venmo, all 3 come up, and they all look like they're my accounts, but they're not. Right. It's only the one that ends in 10 with nothing after it. So thank you for pointing that out, Doug. Yeah. And hopefully you can get in touch with Venmo for us at some point and put a stop to the
they want to definitely talk to you.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah, they'll talk to you.
Excellent.
They don't want to talk to me.
Yeah, well, you're my legal representative. You're my lawyer.
They don't care. They don't care.
All right, who's next there, kid?
Let's see. We have... Oh, why isn't this changing?
I don't know. You're the producer.
What's wrong? Oh,
we got another technical issue here.
I know. It's in different laptops.
Well, this is John Ratka,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's who this is named after, so we can. So this is Isabel Dupuy. She is our Greater Lawrence Tech. She's in second place. The Vogue has never been in the top 4 ever.
Really? I donated to the Vogue.
And let me tell you why she's doing so well.
Why?
This young lady is flipping amazing. She has had 21 surgeries in her lifetime.
Oh, wow.
She has a debilitating medical condition, and she wants to be a nurse to help other kids.
Wow.
That's really special.
Yeah.
And I think when people read her bio and saw that she's struggling physically and medically, and yet she still is pushing on to go to school. She, by the way, also has 2 jobs while she's going through all this.
Wow.
And she is going to school to be a nurse to help other kids that have these kind of issues. And I think those are the kind that we love to have those kind of kids at the best because
Salt of the earth. Salt of the earth
like
type kids.
They get it because they're going through it, right?
Yep.
And they're gonna pay. There's no doubt in my mind. 10 years from now, she's going to be at the best contributing to another kid. There's no doubt in my mind because that's the kind of kid she is. So she's at second place with $11,000. We have renamed this scholarship. Up until this year, it has always been the Greater Lawrence Tech Scholarship. And thank you to Jessica Finicaro, who came to me at our second bash and said, "You're raising money for Lawrence High. Tom, didn't you go to the Voc your first 2 years? How about doing one for the Voc kids?" And I said, "They're all going into plumbing. Why carpentry? Why would they?" She said, "No, there's a lot of kids in data processing and they're doing other things, engineering, and some of these kids don't get the scholarships because people think like you that they're all going into plumbing and carpentry." So I said, "Okay, let's start it." So this was our second scholarship ever. And this year, Don and Kelly Messina from Methuen called me from Mar-a-Lago. They were meeting with the president because Kelly Messina, Don's wife Kelly, is related to Abraham Lincoln's first vice president. And I wish I could remember off the top of my head his name, but I can't. And so they were down there because they were doing some kind of a historical dedication to Abraham Lincoln's first vice president. And I can't remember who it was. You can look it up if you want. And he said to me, "Tom, we're at Mar-a-Lago. We've been following you on Facebook. This is amazing. If I give you $2,000, I was just wondering, can I give you $2,000? And are all your scholarships named?" And I said, if you, I would be more than happy to name a scholarship after you guys. If you're willing to do this every year. This is seed money for a scholarship every year. Yeah. So he said, "Okay, from now on, every year we'll give you $2,000 if you can rename this." So we're going to rename it for Don and Kelly Messina, Greater Lawrence Tech Scholarship. So next year, this automatically starts at $2,000. This automatically starts there. And so we added that to her total. That's one of the reasons why she's so high. And she high on the tote board, not high.
Those are the folks in the picture where there's like a nice 50s car.
Yeah.
In front of a beautiful house. Yeah.
$200,000 car. That's
if not more.
A Bentley or something. Yeah. And what's great is they were calling us from Mar-a-Lago. And what's great is that they follow us. They're from Methuen, but they're not always here. They have a summer home down there or a winter home down there. And they follow us, and they care about what we're doing. And they know that 100% of what they give is going to that kid. And so that's the beauty of this bash is many people would like to donate money when there's a hurricane somewhere, an earthquake somewhere, a tornado, if there's a huge fire. But they also know that all these relief funds, none of it goes where it's supposed to go. Maybe 10 cents on a dollar goes where it's supposed to go. Yeah. Even the 9/11 fund got stolen.
So much money gets stolen from
So
us.
when we show people think, when they first venture to my page and they see that we're thanking people publicly, they think we're patting ourselves on the back. That's not why we do it.
It's transparency.
We do it for transparency because there are Debo Browns out there and Dan Shabilia's out there and Mike Samad's out there who run around telling people we steal this money.
Who's the counselor from Methuen that lived in New Hampshire?
Joe Ferretra
that one too.
was telling people that you have to be careful because that money doesn't go where it's supposed to go. So I knew having enemies is actually, by the way, having enemies that hate you that much sometimes is actually a good thing because it makes you cross every I, dot every T, do your math 3 times, double check it 4 times, because the minute you screw up, they're going to accuse you of something. And so it just makes you better at what you do. And so when we started this, we wanted to make sure that the Debo Browns out there weren't going to be able to say, at least with any credibility, that we're stealing any of this money.
Last year he said that.
He did. They did a video about how we're stealing all the money for the scholarship kids. Mike Samad also told people
And they said Diana should be auditing.
Yeah, they were mad that Diana Zago is not auditing us.
Last year, that was my joke last year.
Yeah, right.
We
stole what Debo said, make a joke out of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. So we do.
Great line.
If you donate $1, like intern girl's son, Alejandro donated $12 out of his piggy bank this year. Okay. We posted his picture. We thanked him for the $12. We said what scholarship it was going to apply to. We added to his total.
And
we
then
added to the final
the
total.
scholarship ending in a 2 bothered you.
Yes.
So then you
So I
donated a
picked an
random
eight
$8
more dollars,
just
right,
to
to
make it a round number.
So thanks to Alejandro, that kid got, I think it was this one too. I think it went to Isabel. Ended up getting $20 extra out of it. But that's why we do it. We do it not to pat ourselves in the back and say, look what we're doing. That's the last thing in the world we need. People know what we do. We do it to make sure that the recipient knows that they're getting every dollar and the donor knows the money's going to that recipient. And there have been times when I've made a math mistake. I get 15 people come on that's wrong. What are you trying to do? You're trying to steal an extra 50 cents or $1. So, but it's good though because it keeps us honest, number one, but it also makes sure that if we make a mistake, even if it's by $1,
it'll get fixed.
All the haters are going to jump on me
Yeah,
and they're going to make sure that they correct it and we're going to make sure that it's right. And if we make the mistake in the kid's favor, I'll kick money out of the door or the sponsors to make that right. I'm not going to take it away from the kid once I post it. So if I post an extra $20 and it turns out that it should have been 20 less, I'll kick in the $20 to make sure, because once that kid sees that total, that's that kid's total.
I can never hate someone so much that I'm like watching every single thing that they do.
I live rent-free in
That's
some of these
crazy.
people's heads. Oh, unbelievable.
That's like psychotic.
Yep.
It is kind of crazy.
It is.
All right,
Who's
next.
our next kid?
Oh, that's a
Oh,
picture.
this is Don and Kelly
Yeah.
Messina. I cropped the picture. You can't see the Bentley.
Thanks.
So this is Yeselin Alvarado. She's our Whittier Tech kid. By the way, I hope Alvalu's not watching. Should I blow that? No, we'll tell him in the room. All right. So by the way, Alvalu came to us the day of the Dan Cody funeral and said he wanted to start the Dan Cody scholarship. And then before he walked out of the room, he pulled out another check and he looked at me and he's just thinking out loud. And I'm like, what? And he said, well, I graduated from Whittier and you don't have a Whittier Tech scholarship. And kind of like the Vogue, a lot of people think those kids aren't going to college, and a lot of them are, and they don't get the money. So can we start a Whittier Tech scholarship fund? And I'm like, listen, we're already adding. We're adding a Cody. You want to add a Whittier? We've already got Lawrence High. We've already got the Vogue. We didn't have Methuen High School yet. We didn't have Haverhill yet. And I said, well, if we're going to add anybody, we should probably add Methuen first. And so he wrote a $1,000 check and said, well, how about if I promise this every year? And he has. Wow. So we start off. We always start off with about $1,000 that we know we're going to get from Al. And if some year happens, I think he got sick really one year. And I said, listen, don't worry about it. We'll make it up. We'll make it up with sponsorship money. We'll take care of it. Alvalu has done so much for this bash. It's unbelievable. He started the scholarship. This is Yeselin Alvarado. She's going to be a dental assistant. And she got a $2,000 scholarship from La Rose Bleu, which is a dental office in Methuen, thanks to Patricia Valley, who's been our superstar this year. By far, she's been our superstar this year on the bash committee. She raised us a ton of money. And La Rose Bleu has kicked in $2,000 for this scholarship. And when she graduates, they've offered her an internship and a job if she gets through it. Wow. So if she gets through it, they're going to offer her a job. They're going to give her an internship while she's in college. So now we've gotten to a point in this bash where we're not just giving kids money. We're partnering them with possible employers, with internships.
Possibly improving the trajectory of their lives.
Networking them with people in the community that can help them achieve their dream. And by the way, we actually have a really big surprise for one of our scholarship kids this year that falls into the category of what we just described. It's going to be huge. And I can't give up too. I'm really good at keeping other people's secrets, but I suck at keeping my own secrets.
We have a surprise, and then
he hasn't even told me.
He'll tell you right after.
Yeah, right.
No, here's what happens. The minute I tell him, I hear myself say it, and then I want to tell everybody. And so that's why I haven't told anybody yet. So Yeselin Alvarado, she's in the bottom three. She's at 9,175. But I got to tell you, that's a pretty good amount to be in.
Yeah.
If you're in the bottom three. You're in the bottom three, and it's not, for that scholarship, it's 9,175.
Not bad.
Not kid.
Not bad.
Scholarship.
Yep.
And so if you want to donate to her, you got the QR code. But please denote when you make your donation, please note that it's for Yeselin Alvarado or the Whittier Tech Scholarship kid. All right. We're bouncing. Yeah. All right. This is Dan Strange. Dan Strange was Secret Service. He was a former law enforcement officer, former president of the New England PBA, who has been a little bit disappointing this year. That's him at the bash from, I think, 6 years ago. Dan came down with cancer. That night, he announced that he had been given a few months to live.
Oh,
That's what that picture is. And he said, I love all of you. And I'm going to cry. He said, I love all you guys. This is my favorite event to go to every year. I've been helping Tommy for a long time. And when I'm not here anymore, please make sure that you keep helping these kids. And we felt so great to have him there for at least one more bash. He didn't make it to the next bash. So we named the Haverhill High School scholarship that we had just started for someone else. Whose family was very liberal and didn't want us using their name anymore. And we were trying to figure out how we were going to tell people we were going to take the name off. And then Dan passed, and we said, oh, perfect, we'll just transition this right to the Dan Strange Memorial Scholarship. And every year the New England PBA has kicked in money for this because they really helped us get this going. And the last couple of years we've kind of had crickets. We're still trying to reach them, but I know that there's some turmoil going on over there.
If anybody knows anybody, reach out to them.
I miss Dan. Can you just go back for a second? So I miss Dan, and my favorite story about Dan is nobody knew he was Secret Service. He used to drive Charlie Baker around. Right. He was friends with Charlie Baker, and he used to be Secret Service, and he used to guide Charlie. And I didn't know he was Secret Service. Nobody knew because it's a secret. That's in the name, right? So
why was the Secret Service driving around the governor?
So, because I guess there had been some threats.
Oh, okay.
So
typically that's state police.
I look at my phone one afternoon. It's 2 p.m. It's the middle of summer, and it's Dan Strange. So I answer the phone. I was in the middle of a million things, and he said, "Listen, I'm going to call you back in 5 minutes. Make sure you answer the phone." I said, "Why?" He goes, "I'm on Air Force One." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, you're on Air Force One. You're driving Charlie Baker around. I thought he was a driver. I thought he was a limo driver his entire friggin' life, and."
Something like that.
5 minutes later, the phone rings, and I hear, "This must be Tom Duggan, the greatest Valley Patriot, the greatest newspaper in the earth. Like nobody's ever seen a Valley Patriot like this." And I thought it was an impersonator. And then about 5 seconds into Donald Trump talking, I realized it was actually Donald Trump because you can tell when it's really him. Like you can just tell. And so I talked to him for a few minutes. He said, "I understand you're raising money for your bash." He said, "I'm going to have Corey Lewandowski get in touch with you. Next year he's going to be your keynote speaker, and he's going to try and help you raise some money by reaching out to all of his Republican donors for next year." And this was right before Dan Strange passed away. And then Dan Strange passed away right after this bash, and that was all supposed to happen the following year. And then when he passed away, we just lost touch. We didn't know who to contact after that.
There was a disconnect.
So we just keep the Dan Strange Memorial Scholarship going every year, and Dee O'Neill has helped us with that. As 411 Cares is our nonprofit partner. So if you have a chance to donate to 411 Cares, all right, what else we got? All right, this is Doug's. Why don't you talk about this young man, John?
This is my second.
Johan Rusi.
Jonah.
I think Jonah Rusi.
Ruisi. He's Italian. I'm just saying.
Of course he's Italian.
So Ruisi, I would assume he's Italian. I don't know him personally. Jonah, so he's the second of the Andover Scholarship recipients. We were able to fund his fully, which is great. But again, we're happy to exceed the $15,000 and roll in some extra cash to these guys because they're great. They're great kids. Jonah is, as he says, an aspiring engineer. Of course, all the academic credentials, National Honor Society, the whole nine. Clearly, he's an Eagle Scout, which, by the way, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed by the Eagle Scout community.
Really?
I reached out to a handful of Eagle Scouts that I knew. Of the Eagle Scouts I knew, one of them came through.
That's too bad.
When somebody says they're an Eagle Scout, if there's another Eagle Scout within earshot, I mean, they start throwing gang signs and stuff.
Right.
Oh, I'm 1427. You're 12. Like, what the hell? Like,
Maybe
what did I just walk into?
In there?
And the Eagle Scouts, with one notable exception, Keith Garafola, True North Realty Group, I believe it is. Sorry, North Point. At Compass, Keith Garafola is a North Andover guy, by the way. And he's a former Eagle Scout. I guess once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout, kind of like a Marine. So he made a nice donation to support Jonah, which is great. A few other Eagle Scouts, a little bit disappointed, not going to lie. But, great kid. He's going into engineering. When we started Andover, it wasn't about we want the poorest kid or we want the valedictorian. We want the good kids, right? And
the kid that deserves it.
100%. I had a list of kind of criteria that I sent to the high school, and the high school responded. They were going to try to get it approved. I asked them for some names, and of course, didn't hear back in a timely manner. So I ended up just going ahead and picking kids myself with some assistance. But bottom line is, a kid like Jonah is exactly what we want. good kid, service-oriented. He's, I mean, just a solid kid. You know, we want working class. The people who are very poor have a lot of financial aid available. The kids who are very well off don't need it. It's the kids in the middle who get crushed. The working families, the people like that. Those are the ones who, yay, congratulations. You make too much to get what you actually need, but not enough to not need it. And that's what we were looking for in Andover. And we, you know, and to me, I want good kids more than anything. And we found some great kids, and Jonah was one of them. So I'm definitely happy to see that we got him his $5,000. You know, we want to, you know, make sure we fill out the 15 and then hopefully get a few extra bucks so we can maybe boost that 5 a little bit. I don't want to, you know, if I can have him walk out with more than 5, that would be a win.
Right.
But first year out of the blocks, I was hoping to get $15,000. I'm still sticking with that number. I think we'll get there. We're at 10,000 now.
If that happens, we break 80,000. We probably break even a little bit more with the Codys. We could end up with 85.
I'm
You
telling
said
you,
84.
84 minimum, guaranteed. And by the way, just also, one of the things for the Andover Scholarship that we're doing is the Capitol Grill in Burlington. Adam Mackler is the general manager over there. I've eaten a steak or two over the years at the Capitol Grill. And not only do you get phenomenal steak, phenomenal service, but they actually
cook it the way you like it, too.
They donated 100%. They donated a dinner for 6 with wine, $1,200 value. Wow. We're talking appetizers, we're talking wine, we're talking desserts. The only things not included in gratuities, other alcohol other than the wine. I'm doing a raffle, which is not going through Tom. It's actually coming straight to me, so I'm keeping track of the raffle. $50 for 1 ticket, $125 for 3, and the winner of that will win the dinner for 6 at the Capitol Grill. You can't use it on Saturday nights, can't use it on holidays, but it's a great way to kind of help top off these scholarships. So at DOUGESQ, or for Venmo or PayPal, at DOUGESQ. The last 4 are 7936 if you want to verify it before you send it. Put your name, put your cell phone in the comments. The raffle will most likely be drawn a week from this Friday, right before the bash, and it will be done publicly with a bunch of witnesses, so everybody will see everybody's entered. Right now, there's only about 60 entries, so for $125, you essentially have a 5% chance of winning right now. A $1,200 dinner that people would dream about. I know I'm dreaming about it, and I'm not even buying a ticket because I don't want to win. I want it to be, 100% on the up and up, but very generous, the Capitol Grill in Burlington, for doing it.
I would buy a ticket, but if I won, everybody would think it was fixed.
Conflict.
So.
It's a conflict of interest.
I mean, you can just donate the $50 to my people, Tom. I'm good with that. You don't need to buy the ticket. I'm just trying to. I'm going to donate $1 to each of my kids, just so he'll have to donate 9 more to each of them.
There you go.
That's evil. That's downright evil.
And then once you
Smart.
do, I'll do it again.
That's smart.
Downright evil.
But like I said, great kids. So I'm very happy with Jonah, and again, all of our recipients. But if you want to,
I have a question. Eventually, do you want to maybe give the scholarship a name? I mean, I know it's Prime Insurance,
Yeah,
but you know how
Prime
you
Insurance
have.
Services Scholarship.
I know, but if you have someone.
So, and that was something that was I actually
should be the
contemplated.
Doug Mercurio Scholarship is
Yeah.
what it should be.
I think so.
I just don't. The problem with scholarships, people tend to be dead before you name them after them, and I prefer to keep hanging around for a few more years, right? Knock on wood.
No.
Well, listen, when I die,
Knock
you
on
take
wood.
over the bash. You just name it after me.
Oh, please!
There you go.
I have enough problems, Tommy. I don't need any of yours. But that said, like
Dan Shibili will be doing podcasts about you.
Yeah, I will say, we did get a generous donation from Quincy Mutual, which is one of the donors who donated some money toward the scholarship because of the relationship with my agency. And again, with a lot of people, Mike Tarshi gave a large donation.
I love him.
There's a number of people who were very generous. Peter Caruso, who I know is a good friend
My
of yours.
attorney.
Peter.
We won 4 lawsuits together.
Yep. Nope. And he may have collected about what he donated, in fees from you, but he donated. I saw you listed.
I financed his summer home. What are you talking about?
He finally smiled when he says his.
I saw
his
you
name.
listed on the accounts receivable. Jimmy Kalogeropoulos, and I actually tried to tag him, and I think you tried to tag him.
We tried.
Gave $1,000. I don't understand why Remax Partners, Jimmy Kalogeropoulos, couldn't get tagged, so I do want to put a shout out.
It had to do with whatever program they're using for their website.
Yeah, but
It's not WordPress, that's for sure.
$1,000 donor, which is no small amount of money, so I definitely want to give Jimmy some love. He's a great guy. He looks like the glasses he wears. It's a little bit like Drew Carey. That's kind of his signature. But a great guy, great sense of humor. He and I, when we get together, there's definitely some laughs, and usually some good food around.
All right, let's go to our next kid.
Our next kid.
Yes, we're
Real
running
quick,
out of
That is
time.
Christina.
Christina Preston. So Christina was the first scholarship recipient. She's actually going to both a Bible school for ministry and also getting a marketing degree at the same time. And she actually comes from a family who's very involved in their church. The dad's the pastor or one of the pastors of her church. She volunteers. Just like Jonah, actually, she works at the Andover Youth Center, Cormier Youth Center. She, does a lot of volunteer work, community stuff. Again, just a solid kid. I've known Christina for about, probably a year and a half. And literally when I was like, who's the type of kid I want to receive the scholarship? It was her.
Right.
And, I'll tell a little secret. I asked her for some names to get some ideas, and I gave her the same criteria that I sent to the school. And Christina gave me a number of options. She put a lot of thought into it. Didn't just pick her friends, picked kids she didn't really know well, but she knew of them and she knew the type of kid they were. Said a lot about her. And then I said to her, hey, Christina, I kind of came up with the criteria, and I was thinking of you when I did.
And she didn't nominate herself.
I said, how come you didn't give me your name?
Right.
And her response was, because that would be selfish and it wouldn't be the right thing to do.
That's the kid we love.
And I'm like, the good news for her is I told her, I said, I already have your name. And I was thinking of you when I came up with this criteria. I wanted her to be the first recipient. Super appreciative. Like I said, great kid.
So much so that after she topped off at 5,000 and Jonah. I always get that back. Jonah was struggling with a very low number at the beginning. She donated $100 to his scholarship.
Her mom, her parents called and said, "Hey, we want to support Jonah's scholarship because they appreciated it, and we don't necessarily want to take money from one to give to another, as you said. Like that's not what we want to do, but they so appreciated what was done. And by the way, great kid. Like if you see her on Instagram, or you see, she's not on Facebook, but you see that she's constantly celebrating accomplishments of other people. All right, it's not about her. It's not about, hey, here's my selfie or in front of whatever. Here's my lunch today, the stupid crap that I post.
Right.
It's literally like congratulating a friend for getting into a college or congratulating a friend for winning a road race or whatever it is.
What is she going to school for?
She's going to Bible college.
Yeah, ministry. And also a marketing degree.
Yeah.
And which, by the way, I will say, other than a law degree, I think marketing degree is the most important degree there is.
That.
Because everything you do in life, there's marketing involved. If
you want to have your own business?
You want to have your own business. Even, honestly, if you want to be a pastor, you have to not only can you connect with people spiritually, but you have to actually put butts in the seats to begin with.
And raise funds for the church.
Marketing is key.
Sure.
So, Christina, like I said, that she was the model that I started with on what type of kid do I want, and it's a great kid, and this is one. So absolutely.
Right. Thanks, kid.
So she got her 5. Again, still looking at top off the last one. That's me.
This is she.
That's my insurance. Oh, geez.
Oh, there he is.
And by the way,
good thing you're not wearing the same shirt.
No, a different color. I get a bunch. But by the way, yes, that picture Tom has spread far and wide. I don't know that I like Tom as much anymore. I mean,
that was the point.
Granted, I understand.
Don't like me.
Let's start with, I understand I'm fat, right? I get I'm fat. That picture
people don't look at that
doesn't
and think
help.
that. People don't look at it.
People look at me and think,
you're talking way fatter than you are right now.
No,
I don't know about that, but
People don't look.
I definitely. Oh, you don't have my third girl?
Yeah, it's at the end.
It's at the end.
We
She
added
came
her.
in last.
All right, go ahead.
So this is
This
Edmund,
poor girl doesn't get any respect.
This is Edmund Lowe, and so it's. I have to explain this every year because it's a little different than what we normally do. So Edmund Lowe was killed in Samarra, Iraq. He was the first American troop to die in Iraq. He's from Salem, New Hampshire. He was junior ROTC. He was the commander of the junior ROTC in Salem, New Hampshire, in high school. And his dad and mom, Dave and Rosa,
which I met last year. Great people.
Ran Jasmine's computer service. They're my computer techs. I met them through Dave LaCroix. But
they're not responsible for the technical difficulties earlier.
No, they're
today.
not.
Just for clarity, that was
Neither am I.
user error. Oh no, she's Duncan then. Okay.
Yeah, no, we blame her.
They changed the laptops.
Okay.
All
right, Edmund Lowe.
We've got to thank Dave Consoli, so please remind me.
Yes.
So what they do right now, that scholarship's at $4,500 because they don't pick their kid till after our bash. So we asked them this year, can you please name one of the kids so we have a face to go, because people will donate when they see the
They see a
kid.
face.
They have a story too.
And they have a process that they use, and they didn't want to deviate from their process.
Yep.
Because they have to have credibility with their people that they're raising
You gotta
money for
respect
too.
that. You
And
gotta
so we were
respect
okay
that.
with that. So this is Edmund Lowe. We have at the bottom of our top it says Edmund Lowe. Right now it's at $4,500. I'd really like to get that to $6,000 if we can. At the very least $5,000. And then in April or May, when they have their little charity bash at Salem High School, my team buys a table, we go to their event, and then we present a check to them for whatever we raise. So we're going to do 2 check presentations. The night of the bash, we do a check presentation to Mr. Lowe because Mrs. Lowe passed, and his son Norman come, which is Edmund's brother. And they sit at the Gold Star table every year, and we do a presentation to them. Then we go to their bash. We do the same thing. We do the presentation to them. But now we've got the kid. Now the kid's in the room, so we can do the presentation to the actual kids. And so if anybody would like to donate, please, Junior ROTC Commander from Salem, New Hampshire, Edmund Lowe. And I think they pick 5 kids every year, so they divide what we give them among the 5 kids.
Oh, okay, it's 5.
Yeah, they have 5
okay.
kids. That was last year they had 5.
You gotta respect their
I think
process.
the year before they had 3, but last year they had
and it's
5.
a great way to honor their son too.
Yeah, and it's
Maybe
one of
they
those
want to
things
censor the story of the scholarship on him too. That
Yeah.
might be it. No?
You get guys who put themselves in a position that they could give their life for our country. How do you not respect that? I mean, that's awesome.
Yep. All right, next. So here's your girl.
All right, so this is number 3. This is the one we're pushing for now, and this is the one when you Venmo Tom Duggan 10, no extra dashes, no extra anything. You're going to say you wanted to support Meredith and the Andover Scholarship. So Meredith is an aspiring drug dealer. Pre-pharmacy. Pre-pharmacy.
I was like, wait, you should say that?
So,
See, you looked at me when he said that.
So, in fairness, with the number of pharmaceuticals I'm sure you're on these days, it only makes sense, right? You should clean up selling to you, never mind the scholarship. But no, so Meredith is, again, another great kid. She's going to school for pharmacy. She has all the normal credentials. She's working. She's volunteering. She's doing, great academically. National Honor Society, same. I mean, these kids are all the same, cut from the same cloth. And right now she's at 0. Now, granted, she'll have some money from the raffle, don't get me wrong. But right now she's at 0. We need to get her to $5,000. Obviously, if any of those Eagle Scouts feel bad about not getting a check to Jonah,
this is the time to check
here's
in.
a way to make it up. If if you're an Eagle Scout, if you throw gang signs anytime someone mentions they're an Eagle Scout, you need to basically say we're going to support Meredith. We're going to get Meredith hopefully by next Friday up to $5,000. We do have some stuff in the works. We have, like I said, a lot of generous people. I've had somebody who's already donated substantially who said that she'd help again if needed. Okay. And bottom line is we definitely want to get her up to that $5,000. If we can exceed $15,000, that would be great. And then I want to see if maybe in future years people want to adopt what I call the Mercurio model. Let's spread the wealth. Let's get more kids and, let's see how we can benefit 3 or 4 or whatever students. I mean, $5,000-$6,000 is nothing to sneeze at when you're dealing with college. Mm-hmm. And if you can benefit that number of many more, it would be great. And that's what we did. It's a little bit of an uphill battle, and it was a leap of faith. I mean, I called these kids and told you you're number 1. I told Jonah you're number 2, and I told Meredith you're number 3. And the rest of the discussion is, congratulations, you won, but it might be nothing.
Right.
Like, I don't know what you're going to win. Now, granted, I probably would have done something for her if it was nothing, because I wouldn't have felt right about it. But congratulations, you won next to nothing or nothing. Right. Now, right now, she's up. She is at nothing. So we're delivering on the promise. But now we want to over-deliver. We want to get her up to the $5,000. Right. So if anybody wants to, make a donation, people who know me, you can call me. If you know Tom, call Tom. When you mention the Andover Scholarship, it'll end up going to Meredith. Yep. Until we exceed our numbers.
I hope we've got the Dan Strange girl, because I realized we talked about Dan, but we didn't talk about the kid from Haverhill High School. So hopefully that's next.
Wasn't it Jocelyn Alvarado?
No, that was the.
Oh,
So this is the
that's
awards.
Okay.
So did you not get Kaylee?
No.
Kaylee.
Then we have
Kaylee
Mike
Shapiro.
Randy Carter.
Hold on a second. I'm going to send you
Oh,
that. We
I
have
don't
to.
have it.
Yeah, you guys take a look at the top board while I do this. Just give me 1 second. Here it
Oh,
is.
that's big. Hold on.
So if I send you
I can't go.
you can't.
No.
You can't add it.
You can send it to me to my email if you want.
Okay.
Cold Castle Podcast
All right.
at gmail.com. Please don't hit on me.
And by the way, I'm texting.
Don't hit on
I have
I had a guy tell me that he wants to drink my bath water.
really. I
Yeah.
mean, Sydney Sweeney
Make
sold
him-
her for some real money. I mean, sold that for real money. If that,
Tell me-
Really?
yeah, she
Well,
is.
some
They
guy
made
did
soap
ask-
out of her bath water or something, which is, I think, kind of disgusting.
Tell him to
but-
donate to the scholarships.
Well, that's the thing. If
Tell him
you-
you send him. You'll
if-
send him bathwater, but he's got to donate to the scholarships.
and it has to be a respectable donation. I mean, he
Right.
can't insult
Yeah.
you and say, "Hey, I'm sending $20." Like
I
that
had
doesn't
another
work.
guy
What's
offer
your
me
email?
$1,000. Cold Castle Podcast at gmail.com.
All right, I'm gonna send this. To
I
you
had
right
another
now.
guy say he'll give me $1,000 if I flash him. I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, and for full disclosure,
First of all, I don't believe that because if somebody actually did offer her that, there's no
She'd
way
take
anybody
it.
say
She'd
no to
take it.
1,000.
She'd take it.
Tell him I'll flash him for
Yeah.
$1,000.
Look at me.
and I will say that people who
don't
donated
know me.
1,000 did not have me flash them. I mean,
don't-
they actually insisted I didn't.
I'm very disappointed, Tom. You don't know me. I respect myself. I hold myself in a high regard.
Yeah, but why
I'm
would you
very
turn down
Hold on, wait a second. $1,000 is $1,000.
$1,000 is $1,000. I would have done it for 40. I would have done it for $40.
I grew up in the church. I would never. Thank you.
All right, I sent you that picture.
All right.
Okay, so while you're doing that, let's go to the awards, and then we'll come back to we'll circle back to the Dan Strange Scholarship for Kaylee Shapiro. So we give out several awards at this event, as if giving out 8 scholarships, 9 scholarships isn't enough. We also give out some awards to hero police officers, firefighters, veterans, and community service people. The first picture that you pulled up earlier was a picture of my dad, who was killed 36 years ago this week. And that's one of the reasons why I was kind of having a tough time at the beginning of the week. I was off grid for a couple of days. I just need to gather my thoughts. And it's funny that 36 years sometimes seems like 20 lifetimes ago.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for her to pull my father's picture up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting the picture right here.
Oh, there we
What happened to that?
There we go.
Let's see.
It was just back in the kids' pictures. He was the
Right.
first one
It
after
was
that.
it was the first one after that. You went from no.
There he
There you
is.
go.
There we go.
So this was my dad, and that's him with Bobby Noshnik, who was his partner when he died. And so because just by happenstance, we didn't plan this, but the very first Valley Patriot came off the presses at Graphic Developments in Hanover, Massachusetts in 2004 on my father's birthday, which was March 7th. Wow. And he was 47 years old when he was beaten to death. On March 13th, he was beaten with a baseball bat. He lived 3 days. He died on the 16th. We buried him on the 19th. So that would have been 36 years ago from today, actually. And so every year, so just by happenstance, when we started the bash, we realized, wow, the anniversary of the bash was on my dad's birthday, and we're doing this of the papers on my dad's birthday, and we're doing this bash now to celebrate the paper. Why don't we just integrate everything, and we'll do an award for a hero police officer or a firefighter who, like my dad, and I'm going to tell you something about my dad that most people may not know. A lot of people knew who he was and still do, but he was very underappreciated, and he felt very underappreciated. He applied for the sergeant's exam several times, scored first on the sergeant exam several times, but because he didn't play politics and he was a little bit of a mouth like me, they didn't want him because, and I'll tell you another story, after he died, I applied for the police department, and a gentleman named Ron Poirier, who was his captain when he died, was doing the background check, and when I found out that he committed fraud on my background check, and we proved it in court, in civil service and in superior court, I went to him in tears, and I said, at my dad's funeral, you came to me and put your arm around me and told me to take the police exam. Why would you tell me to do that and then screw me out of the job? And he got up and he closed the door. I don't think I've ever told this story publicly. I'm going to tell it today. He got up and he closed the door and he said, I'm finally ready to be a father after 18 fucking years. Why would I want to work with someone exactly like him? I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure when you did your application that I was the guy that did the background check. And I was stunned then, and 36 years later, I'm still stunned.
Wow.
And so one of the things that we do when we find somebody for the Officer Tom Duggan Hero Police Award is we look for people that have been screwed. We look for people that have been underappreciated, people that don't have a million awards, people that don't, people that have gone above and beyond the call of duty, and because of politics or some other thing, were not able to advance. Now, this year, we actually did name the Officer Tom Duggan Hero Police Officer Award for this event, and it's going to be Ed Johnson from the Mass State Trooper. He just retired. And Ed Johnson was the guy, if you remember, a year ago when we were intern girls sitting here talking about the kid that fell into the river.
Yeah.
He was the guy that on his day off got into his boat and went up and down the Merrimack River trying to find this kid. Not on the clock. He's on his vacation time in the middle of summer. He's going up and down the river. The Lowell cops weren't really doing a whole lot, and he's the one who found that kid.
It happened in Lowell? That's where it
The
happened?
kid fell in Lowell, but I think
thought
they
it was
found
Lowell.
him in the Andover Lawrence area. This is where the
Oh,
body
he
was
fell
found.
in Lawrence and was
No, he
found
fell.
in
He fell in Lowell because
Oh, okay.
the river runs this way,
Okay.
from Lowell to Lawrence. So we're giving it to Ed Johnson. I know that because of politics, he did not advance as far as he should have. And I've known Ed Johnson for a long time. He's come to our bash almost every year, and I met him through Cassie Barter. And Cassie's been a good friend for a long time. And when that happened, when he found that kid, and Debo Brown was trashing him on Facebook, we said on this show, you know what? Let's make a mental note that next year Ed Johnson gets this award because he shouldn't be putting up a shit from a guy like Debo Brown for saving this family the grief of not knowing where their kid is. So Ed Johnson, he's the only award winner that knows they're getting it this year is Ed Johnson.
Wow.
Let's go to our next picture. So we have been giving out for a very long time a Lifetime Achievement Award, but in 2023, Frank H. Can from Frank H. Can Associates, who helped Michael Gorman establish TMF as a nonprofit, passed away right before I went into the hospital. And so that year, the following year, we decided to name the Lifetime Achievement Award for Frank Can. Now, we have two people getting this award this year. One actually does know that he's getting it because he's the guy every year. He's from the Lawrence Exchange Club. He's the guy every year that does our program book, and he does it for free. He used to own Copy Labs in Lawrence, and now he has sold Copy Labs, but he still works for them kind of as a consultant to kind of show them the ropes and how to do stuff, and that's Bob Westcott. And I've got a really fun story about Bob Westcott, but it's very short. I met Bob Westcott back in 2006. I met Bob Westcott, and here's how we met. I went to the Exchange Club's award ceremony. I forget what they call it. They called it back then, and they gave an award to a guy named Chet Seidel. Chet Seidel was the one of the people who was running Lawrence Community Works at the time. He's what we call a poverty pimp. He's one of these rich Andover guys that was swooping into Lawrence, pretending to be a hero, and running an organization where a lot of the money was going to salaries for the people at the top and pretending that they cared about poor people. And I was so enraged by that I wrote a notebook item in the Valley Patriot saying, Bob Westcott should have known better. I didn't know him. I hadn't met him yet. I said, but the Exchange should have known better than to give one of their awards, one of their Golden Deed Awards, to a guy that's not really helping poor people. He's just raising money for salaries, and he's a piece of crap. And that's what I wrote because when I feel strongly about it, that's what I do. Yep. So Bob
You have less of a filter than I do.
Bob sent me a letter after the paper came out, eviscerating me.
Yeah.
Eviscerating me. And I published every fucking word of it. And I was getting phone calls from people all month going, did you make a mistake? I'm reading your paper, and you published this letter from this guy who's just destroying you, Tom. Like, why would you do that in your own newspaper? And I said, because I believe in free speech. Yep. So about 3 months later, I'm at another Exchange Club event covering it for the Police Officer of the Year award that they do every year. And I'd never met him before, so I had no idea he was coming. But this guy was making a beeline for me, and I was like, well, this doesn't look good. I wonder who this guy is. And he comes right up to me, and he goes, you're Tom Duggan. And I went, oh, shit. I said,
Which that doesn't narrow it down.
No, it doesn't, not even a little bit, right?
Right, that could be a lot of people.
And I said, yes, I am. And he goes, well, I'm Bob Westcott, and you got a lot of balls for publishing my story about you, and I want to shake your hand. And he shook my hand, and we have been friends ever since. Yeah. Every year.
And by the way, Bob your initial take on Bob must have been way off, because I actually met Bob probably around the same time. he actually did copiers and service and all that
Yeah, Copy Labs.
at my law firm.
Yeah.
Copy Labs was my provider for years. Bob was my guy. They did Kyocera's. I had got a couple printers and copiers, and great guy to deal with. And I've dealt with him a number of times since at the Exchange Club. I've seen him at the Valley Patriot Bash. Great
and
guy.
he does our program book for free every year.
Yeah.
It's a 48-page glossy color program that he does out of pocket every year. And so this year,
again, that doesn't shock me. He's a great guy.
So this year we were looking at a Lifetime Achievement Award for 2 people. We're not going to tell you the other person because they don't know yet. And we were looking at Bob, and we were looking at what he does for the Field of Honor in North Andover, raising money for the Christensen Foundation for child abuse victims, the money that he raises for the homeless. He's always helping TMF. He's always spreading the word about TMF. He's always sending us people that want to donate money or food or clothing for the homeless. And I thought, if anybody deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award for his years of service for the Exchange Club, for the stuff that he's helped us with the Bash, the Field of Honor in North Andover alone, he's very patriotic. He's always pushing patriotism.
Solid guy.
That's the guy that deserves it. The other guy we can't tell you, but I will tell you it's a firefighter. Let's go to the next. I think this is the last. So this is John Ratka, the guy on your left, the guy who's looking at his award. And this was the year that John Ratka got our Hero Veteran Award. By the way, we also have named our Lawrence Hyde Jr. ROTC after him in Eugene. So this is John Ratka, the bald guy looking at his award. He's wearing his Veterans Northeast Outreach jacket because he's the founder of Veterans Northeast Outreach. We gave him the Hero Veteran Award before we had a name for it, and then he passed away the following year. And so we decided...
Sounds like it found a name.
Yeah, and so the guy next to him is Randy Carter, one of my best friends, who was actually there when I was in a coma a couple of years ago in Lawrence General Hospital. He was trying to paint my toes purple. My toenails, and the nurses got mad at him.
So random.
I know, but it's just the funny stories that go along with this. So John he is a hero veteran who not only served his country, and by the way, the people who get this award are not just people who are veterans. A lot of veterans out there, some of them served in a warehouse in Nebraska. They didn't. So this is not about being in combat. It's not about what you served. It's that you served, and then you came back to the community. Thank you, Janice. When you come back to the community, he helped other veterans. He started Veterans Northeast Outreach to help homeless veterans. And when he passed away, he had purchased 8 different pieces of property from the money that he had raised from Veterans Northeast Outreach. So that homeless veterans, if I found a veteran on the streets of Lawrence, I would call Randy or John. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, they would climb down the banks of the Merrimack River in the snow, quiz the guy a little bit to make sure he was really a veteran, because a lot of people lie. They'll ask him some questions about what unit and stuff, and then put him in a car that night, drive him to Devon's, do an intake with him, and put him in a housing unit the next day. They'd sleep at Devon's that night. The next day they'd have a unit for him, and they would, if they needed detox services, they'd get it. So now my go-to guy is Randy because we lost John.
2-hour mark.
All right, so let's go to the next one.
But that's what veterans deserve. No veteran should be homeless.
Yeah. So this is Phil Glendy again. So we already gave out a Phil Glendy thing.
And I believe I have.
All right. So
here we go.
So here's Kaylee Shapiro. She's the one receiving. We talked about Dan Strange, but we didn't talk about the kid getting it. This is Kaylee. She's going into the sciences, and she is graduating from Haverhill High School. This kid is on every National Honor Society board you can imagine. If I tried to read them to you, we'd be here 3 more hours. And Dee O'Neill, thank you to Dee O'Neill from 411 Cares. I know she's going through a lot right now. We love you. We're here for you. And she helped us pick this kid. And 411 Cares is our nonprofit partner. So if you want to write a check to any of these scholarship kids, I'm not a nonprofit. But if you write the check to 411 Cares, she will take the check. She will write she will write a check to the kid's college to help to make sure that goes to what the kid needs, and you can get a tax break for
This
it.
girl, I think she's in a band or something. Or
Yeah,
am I wrong?
There's a guitar. There's a guitar in one of her photos.
Yeah, she plays guitar. And so there should be one more. You should have Scott Clegg in there somewhere. You don't have Scott Clegg?
That's it. That's the last one.
You didn't have?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
So there's one more, and I thought we would have a picture of Scott Clegg. There's one more award that we give out. It's called the Scott Clegg Public Service Award, and that usually goes to somebody who helps the homeless or helps some kind of people that are downtrodden, people that need help. It doesn't always go to a homeless advocate, but generally that's who we give them to. We're giving away 3 this year. Wow. Oh, and there is one more award. The First Amendment Award that Janet has gotten, Lenny Mira has gotten, Diana DiZoglio has gotten, Suzanne Bump has also received
I wonder
it.
who's
Senator
getting it this
Katie
year, but don't
Ives.
tell us.
There is going to be such a huge surprise.
I know.
Do you know who it is? Did I tell you who it is?
No, you didn't tell me.
All right, okay. It's someone that people are going to be shocked. And
One of my favorites.
certainly the person getting it is going to be shocked. And she is
okay,
what?
50%.
Yeah.
Just got
No,
knocked out with
okay,
the she.
sorry.
Right.
But we asked Diana DiZoglio, our state auditor, who was one of the first recipients of this award for fighting for my public records bill back in 2014. We asked her if she would get up and she would give this award. So it's going to be not only is it
I
going to
already
be
know who it is.
not only is it going to be special to give this award to that person, but having it come from Diana is going to make it more special.
I know who it is.
It's not Maura
have a
Healy.
feeling.
Not Maura.
Definitely not Maura.
Yeah,
Healey.
it should be Maura, no?
That should be.
She's fighting for us to get a stimulus from Trump.
She's trying to shred the Constitution. What she's trying to do.
Oh, let me not get started. Maybe this is for another show, but there's a lottery system for now vocational schools.
Yeah.
People are
It's-
upset. They take anybody.
we're
You have
ta-
Fs, you have these,
Yeah.
they're going to
Well, Democrats don't believe in merit.
Correct. Merit should be what governs
it
who
should be
gets what.
equal for
Governs everything.
everyone.
Yeah,
Are
no.
you serious? People,
No, stupid
kids,
people should not go to
kids-
Harvard, right?
Kids
Stupid-
work so hard to go to
Right.
Vogue, and
Right.
they want to have a career.
It
Why
shouldn't,
would you
it
want to
shouldn't
have
come
straight
down
D
to
students?
chance. If you put the effort forward to get in and you apply and
It's
you want
what
to
you're
go,
good at, and they don't. Democrats don't understand the difference between equality of opportunity and quality of outcome.
well, that's why the word equity is so offensive to
Right,
me.
right.
Equity talks about outcome. I don't care about outcome. I do care about outcome, but I want everybody to have the same chance.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you have the
Same
chance,
shot.
and historically we get that isn't always what happened. But bottom line is where we are now, people should have the same opportunity and let. If you work harder, and sometimes maybe you get a little luckier.
The Vogue is
That's
going to
okay.
go downhill.
But
They're going to
yeah,
have kids
yeah.
with D's, F's. The teachers are not happy. There's going to be funds that are going to be
Well, they're
diverted
gonna-
to special education, to
Yeah.
different programs and that sort of thing.
They're going
It's
to do
not fair.
They're going to do to
It's
the
not.
Vogue what they did to community colleges. It's just going to be a place for poor kids that have no education that come from the public education system to go because they can.
They're
And,
gonna go
and honestly,
down.
if you look at what the technical school world has changed so much since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I grew up in Braintree. We did a presentation in, say, 8th grade at East Junior High, and the Blue Hills Technical Regional Tech came in. And the selling point was you only had to do class every other week.
Right.
It was like 1 week of class, 1 week of shop. So like, you're in school, like you don't get homework with shop. Like this sounds like a great deal. And, everybody was kind of thinking about it, and that's what it was. It was like if you don't think you do well academically, you go to a technical school. But the kids who go to technical schools now are right up there with everybody else, and in some cases
I went
better.
to the Vogue. I went to the Vogue. I
Yeah.
have friends who are plumbers, friends
Yeah.
who are welding, and they are making good money.
And
they have nice houses.
not only
With
are
no-
they
with no
successful,
college debt.
not only are they successful financially and
Yeah.
they in trades, but even a lot of these technical schools, it's even technology side of it. There's all sorts of. There's so much more than just fixing your car or whatever it is, and not to disparage that by any stretch. It's an honest
Right.
profession. It's a good profession. It's stuff we need, but we should let people work to achieve something. This is a participation trophy,
Right.
and that's what the left is. It's about participation
I
trophies.
don't like that.
No,
I
well,
pass
and
that
it-
at all.
it
My son
doesn't-
wants to go to the Vogue, and he's a straight A
So
student, and now
none
he
of that's-
might not go.
None of that is going to matter. It's a matter of did he get lucky. Luck is a part of everything, right?
They're gonna have
there's
these students, kids that don't even they get
Yeah.
late to school every single day. Go to the Vogue.
I got into
over
carpentry.
kids who work hard. My son, since he was little, he said he wanted to be a plumber like his father.
Yep.
And now you're telling me his chances are what? None?
Yeah.
Well, no, his chances
he
to
can
go to
still do
go
it.
to the Vogue, but then the other option is things like community college programs. There are specialty programs, but it's hard. You're at a disadvantage, and he should be if he worked hard and this was his goal. You should qualify for what you should have an opportunity for whatever you qualify for.
You
And
have
if you've
4 years.
earned it, you should get that education.
And
And
you come out and you
honestly,
can get your license.
we need to strengthen our technical schools. We need to expand the opportunities. I mean, not to sound like Mike
But it's
Rowe
got
for
to
a
be
second.
it's got to be based on
Merit.
merit. I got into
Everything should be based
right,
on merit.
Right. And listen, and doing it on merit, some people aren't going to be left behind
Yep.
because they're not good at things. But
Yep.
that's how you become good at things.
And by the
when
way-
you find out you're not good at something, you go out and you practice, you do it, then you become good at it.
And by the way, I'm gonna take it merit, but keep in mind there has to be more to it than just academics.
Right.
Because you could be one hell of a plumber without being really great at English.
Right.
Or calculus.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's a whole lot of crap in school that you learn. I went to school for 23 years, something like 20 years, something like that. Bottom line is there's a whole lot of stuff I don't use at all. We all have that stuff. You sit there and the teacher's, oh, you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we will.
Yeah.
But bottom line is it's it shouldn't just be about getting an A in English gets you into the Voc school. And I think it has to be more of an application process such as a college.
There's a test that they should be taking.
And I took a test. So I went to the Voc my first 2 years. Yeah. I did the opposite of everybody else. I got into carpentry. I had no interest in carpentry. But my parents kind of figured I wasn't academic. I didn't really get great grades in
grammar school. But that's what the Voc used to be.
Right. So I went to the Voc, and by the way, the superintendent now was my shop teacher, Mr. Lavoie, and I did horrible my freshman year. I did horrible my sophomore year. So the very first day of my junior year, Mr. Lavoie came to me and said, you really don't belong here. What are you doing? You're getting A's in academics, and you're failing shop. The whole point of the Voc is shop, right? So he's like, I give you a board to plane down by an inch, and you can't get that right. And so I'm not saying you're a bad kid or a dumb kid, but this isn't for you. Right. Maybe you should be going to Lawrence High School. So I ended up transferring to Lawrence High School the first day of my junior year, and I ended up graduating from Lawrence High School with honors. And it's because I was more interested in reading and writing stories and writing poetry, and I love to write.
Yeah,
obviously
who knew?
Right? So that's how I ended up. Yeah. But I wasn't good at carpentry. I had no business being in carpentry, but they recognized that, and they corrected my life for that because I would have ended up in a profession that I would have ended up hating and not be good at it.
And miserable. And honestly, like, God bless the shop teacher who pointed that out.
Yeah, that was Mr. Lavoie. He's the superintendent now.
Oh, there you go. And that's what you need for educators who, like, my mom was a teacher, 40 years, right? City of Boston, kindergarten. So, I mean, but bottom line is teachers who care about kids, teachers who, like, this teacher looked at you and said, this isn't what you should be doing. And he told you that. He inspired you. He changed your position. Now,
I thought he was being mean. I hated him for it.
You thought he was kicking you out of school, except for the fact that you realized what was the right answer for you.
I hate to stop, but it's already been 2 point.
We're having too much fun.
Well, usually we're just getting the show started, right?
Yeah. I know. I'm sorry, but I have to go.
All right.
Go.
So here's the thing. We're going to work on. We're putting together the bash, the script.
It's a week from tomorrow,
and I've told Tom 2 hour max.
It's not going to be 2 hours.
2 hour max.
It's not going to be 2 hours.
I'm out at 2 hours.
You might be able to get me at 2.5 hours. The intern will have to take over. But what we have to do, we can't do in 2 hours because people keep adding shit to this thing. Yeah. I have a state representative that came to me last week and said she wanted to add something, and I couldn't say no because of all the things that she does for this event. So we're going to do it quickly. We're going to try and rush through it. I've consolidated a lot of stuff, but it's not going to be 2 hours. And we're going to have a 15-minute break in the middle anyway, so if people need to leave, if people need to take a break, go out and have a smoke, whatever, that's fine. It's a week from tomorrow night. It's at the Elks, Friday, March 27th. I want to thank
and by the way, the food, you got to thank Salvatore's.
Well, I was going to thank all of our service providers, but we're being rushed out of here, and we took up too much time with our guests. Unfortunately, that's on me. But Salvatore's restaurant is donating the food. The Elks is donating the hall. DJ Rick Belanti from Bel Air Music is donating his DJ services. Janet from Confluminum is going to be videotaping for the night. We have Angel Garcia has volunteered to do the pictures, professional photography for the night. We have a bunch of other people that have volunteered their services. We will thank them adequately on Facebook if I've forgotten you today. But before we go, we forgot to do the Pleasant Valley Landscaping intern girl, Kim. We're going to do that in 1 second. Or we'll do it now, however she's very eager to leave.
My son's waiting on the hall.
Well, I know, but we usually start at 2, so I don't understand why you was
because I switched things.
Okay, all right. I want to thank our bash.
You guys into marriage therapy too?
I really kind of think we should be married at this point.
No.
No. You see how quickly she jumped on that? No.
You said you don't agree on everything. Clearly.
He's like a father to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
And I'm like a daughter to you. You told me that before.
At least she didn't say grandfather.
That's wait till she sees you walk.
So I want to thank everybody on the Bash Committee. We've got an incredible Bash Committee this year. I cannot believe, and I don't want to turn this into a negative, but I cannot believe how great the last 2 years Bash Committee has been. Because prior to that, we had people like Rich Russell sabotaging us every week. We had other people, I'm not going to mention by name, that were sabotaging this event every year. And the proof is, last year, we raised $68,000. This year, we're already at 76, almost 77. We're going to go way past 80. And that's because I now have a Bash Committee that's doing work, selling tickets.
Yep.
Prior to last year.
Somebody came by my office to pick up checks. They got their husband to jump in.
Right.
Yeah.
So I could never get my bash committee up until 2 years ago. They never once sold a ticket. They never once brought in a scholarship donation. They never once brought in a sponsor. Basically, my bash committee just ran the room, and I did everything else. And this year, the reason why those numbers are so high, it's not because of Tom Duggan. It's because my bash committee has done so much work that the old bash committee never did, that now I can spend all of my time making phone calls and saying, hey, Bill, you gave us $100 last year. Do you think you could do it again? And getting those numbers up and going through and doing mailings and doing emails and doing phone calls. So I want to thank them all by name. And I have the list here, and I know I didn't forget anybody unless somebody just recently joined, maybe. But it is Nancy Gorman from TMF, Patricia Valley, the Methuen City Councilor, David Valley, her husband, Lucy and Tom Fallon from right here in North Andover, and Tom Fallon is a John Radke Hero Veteran Award winner. Methuen School Committeeman Alejandro Baez, Carlota Castillo, sí.
Sí, señor.
Sí, she a Minton girl.
Dale.
The future Mrs. Duggan, the Santos, Scott and Jen Mendes, Michelle Delano, who's the mother of the Whittier girl who won last year.
Natalie.
She goes by Natalie.
Yeah,
Natalie.
I want
At
people
Salve
to know
Regina, by the way, my alma mater.
100%. And Michelle is actually doing a scratch ticket raffle basket. So that number is going to probably jump. Scott Wood, chairman of the Whittier Tech School
Committee.
Great
guy, not funny, but great guy.
Not funny at all. Doug Mercurio, by the way, he doesn't return phone calls. Doug Mercurio, Dee O'Neill from 411 Cares, Maria Figueroa, Kristen Maxwell, Andrew Maxwell, Carmen King, Wanda Santos, who thank you, Wanda, for coming to TMF last night and for supporting us at Lawrence City Hall Tuesday night. Laurie Cantwell from the Haverhill the Haverhill Lions Club, I'm sorry. Veronica Castro, who donates the balloons and the decorations every year. Eric Melanson and Chris Eldridge from Lawrence High School Alumni Association. Katie Leclerc, this is her first year with us. I'm so happy to have her. She's going to be a great addition to this bash. Bob DeMauro, Rick Belanti, Stevie, Joyce E., and Grace Marie E. Tomaselli. Stephanie Manitakis, Michael MJ Jimenez. He is deployed. He's not going to be with us this year. I keep him on every list of our bash committee because he's deployed and he would be with us if he could. He was with us last year.
And he came through clutch last year.
Oh, yeah, he helped us build the stage last year.
The story about the stage would be a whole other show. We should do it.
Yep.
But he came through clutch.
And he did.
People would have had broken legs if it was not him. It wouldn't just be Tom.
The night would not have happened.
No.
John Savastano, who joined us this year, he's actually the guy doing the stage for us this year. Jessica Finicaro, former member of the Greater Lawrence Vogue School Committee, started the Greater Lawrence Vogue Scholarship. She's also a former member of the Methuen City Council. And Martha Tatra Rouge, who helped us pick Kellen St. Marie this year from Methuen High School. Also, Chris DeMaine, who joined us very late in this, so his name's not on this list, but we'll make sure he gets added to it. And anybody that I forgot, believe me when I tell you will be adequately thanked in the room. We're not going to be here next week. So what we're going to do next week is we're going to rerun this show as if it's live. So
we're going to have this twice.
So we're going to run. So the Tote Board's going to be different.
We're not here next week.
What?
Wait,
it's the day before the bash.
It should be.
I'm going to be busy doing scholarships.
If we keep it an hour.
There's no way we can. I just can't do it. I can't. I'm
just save yourself the cost of a breakfast sandwich.
No, not only that. It's been 2 hours now, 15 minutes.
Right.
My kid's alone.
Okay, so let's go back to the intern girl cam
He's
for 1 second.
Student. He'll figure it out.
Dave Idconsoli, I forgot to thank him at the beginning of the show for our intern girl cam sponsorship, and our condolences to the Consoli family. He lost his dad this week, and it was very hard. And it even broke my heart more that I couldn't get to the wake of the funeral.
I didn't know that.
Because if my dad had died, he would have been there, and I feel really bad about that.
Why didn't you tell me? You should have told me.
Well, I posted it on Facebook. I thought everybody would see it, but I post so much maybe you didn't see it all. So David, we love you, and we're thinking of you. And I'm we'll do it on another show, but he's coming to the bash. So if you see Dave, give him a big hug when you see him next week.
He better go to the bash.
He's struggling. In a way, when you lose a dad, when you're a lot older and you lose your dad, you've had more of him, so you kind of miss him more. And so it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing that you had him that long, but it's also a curse that you've never had to deal with the loss of
life without him.
Right, yeah. So so he's going through a lot, and our heart goes with him, and I'm saying a prayer for him, and he's a good guy, and hopefully we'll be able to take his mind off this next week. You can roll up, Mel. Thank you, intern girl.
Thank you, Tom.
Please both of you keep an eye on the script as we start drafting starting tonight. I added you both to Google Docs, and I think I added Nancy too. So
supposed to be playing, but we can't hear him.
We can't hear Melvin Taylor. What
We have to
happened?
figure things out here.
Yeah,
Changed everything.
What happened? Why did it all of a
So they
sudden?
changed the laptops and all of our settings kind of went in place.
Yeah.
That's why we're having issues. But it looks like it's playing. We just can't hear it.
As long as they can.
Well, let's see if they can hear it, because I'll just I'll pull up the. Oh yeah, it is. It's running. Right? So they can hear it, but we can't hear it, so that's fine. Let's thank our sponsors real quick. Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors, Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office, AFC Urgent Care, Clear Path for Veterans, New England, Tomo and Shaken Seafood, EIS, Investigation and Gun Training. I want to see Joe Solomon at the Bash, Marsan and Son Construction, On the Go Notary, the Zany Pesh Law Office over there. They're Italian over there. You know, they're Italian over there. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Total Mortgage, Brando's Cutlets, and Century 21 McLennan Real Estate. I don't think we forgot anybody. A free shout out to Lambert and Randone and JG's Ice Cream. Thank you, everybody. We will see you at the Bash. Please get your tickets early. Please make a donation to our scholarship kids. 100% of what you give goes to them.
Don't forget the raffle.
Yeah.
Dinner for 6, Capitol Grill, baby.
Sounds like Melvin Taylor says go home, so go home already.
I hope so.